Your life is the result of the choices you make every day, and the path you follow can be intentionally designed. This audiobook is about giving you the tools and the mindset to take control of your decisions, your habits, and your future. It shows how to think strategically so that every action you take brings you closer to the life you want. You will learn how to manage your thoughts, focus on what matters most, and build routines that support real progress. You will discover practical ways to handle challenges, stay disciplined even when it's hard, and keep moving forward when results are slow. You will understand how to prioritize long-term gains over short-term comfort, maintain strong mental energy, and make choices that align with your highest goals. This is about creating clarity, confidence, and control over your life, step by step. By listening, you will start to see patterns in your own behavior, recognize the habits that hold you back, and find the strategies that propel you forward. You will learn how to review your progress, adjust your approach, and ensure that your effort produces real results. The guidance here is not just theory. It is actionable, practical, and designed to help you improve your life daily. This audiobook will help you strengthen your mind, sharpen your focus, and reinforce your belief in what you can achieve. It will guide you to take responsibility for your actions, embrace challenges, and make decisions that build long-term success. Each chapter offers concrete steps, exercises, and insights you can apply immediately. By the end of this journey, you will have a clear understanding of how to take control of your direction, develop the discipline to follow through, and make meaningful progress toward the life you want. Every principle here is meant to inspire action and give you the confidence to make deliberate choices that create lasting results. The path to designing your destiny begins with intention and strategic thinking. As you listen, pay attention to the ideas that resonate with you. Notice the small changes you can start today, and imagine the life you can build by applying them consistently. This audiobook is your guide to taking control, staying focused, and turning your goals into reality. Chapter 1. Take control of your thoughts and design your direction. Every great transformation begins within the mind. Before any external change takes place, a quiet decision forms deep inside, a decision to think differently, to take control of one's inner dialogue, and to stop living by default. The mind is the architect of every destiny, and those who learn to master it hold the power to reshape the course of their lives entirely. Thoughts are not small or invisible things. They are the roots from which every action, habit, and outcome grows. If those roots are neglected, the branches of life bend in directions we never intended. But when thoughts are guided with precision, they become instruments of creation, capable of turning uncertainty into clarity, fear into courage, and dreams into solid direction. Taking control of your thoughts is not a one-time decision. It is a lifelong practice. It requires self-awareness, honesty, and the willingness to confront the truth about how you think. Many people move through life without ever realizing how much their thoughts control them. They react to circumstances automatically, repeat mental patterns that no longer serve them, and accept limitations that were never truly theirs. They become prisoners of invisible habits, beliefs formed long ago, words heard from others, and fears they never questioned. The first step toward designing your direction is recognizing that your thoughts are not facts. They are options. You can choose which ones to nurture and which ones to release. Each day begins with a mental conversation. Before words are spoken or actions taken, thoughts arise, some empowering, some discouraging. Those thoughts shape emotions, emotions influence behavior, and behavior determines results. A person who believes they are capable will look for opportunities, while one who believes they are helpless will notice only obstacles. This is why two people can face the same event but experience completely different realities. One sees a lesson, the other sees a failure. One sees possibility, the other sees proof of defeat. The event is neutral. The difference lies in the interpretation. To design your direction, you must take charge of interpretation. You must become the gatekeeper of your mental world. Control begins with observation. Before you can change your thoughts, you must notice them. Throughout the day, the mind produces a constant stream of inner dialogue. Much of it runs automatically, like a script written by past experiences. Start paying attention to the tone of that script. When challenges arise, what is your first thought? Do you immediately think of what could go wrong? Or do you look for how to make it right? Do you speak to yourself with encouragement or criticism? Awareness breaks the pattern of unconscious thinking. The moment you observe a thought, you step outside of it, and in that space, you reclaim your power to choose. Choice is the foundation of mental freedom. You may not control every situation, but you always control how you think about it. Every problem can be seen as either a wall or a doorway. Every delay can be viewed as either rejection or redirection. The difference lies in mental framing. Strategic thinkers train themselves to reframe obstacles into opportunities. When they fail, they study the experience and adjust their approach. When they succeed, they remain humble and focused on the next step. This is not blind optimism. It is intelligent optimism. It is the ability to see reality clearly and respond with purpose instead of panic. Emotional discipline strengthens this control. Thoughts and emotions are deeply connected. One feeds the other. When thoughts are negative, emotions follow. When emotions spiral, thoughts lose clarity. The way to stop that cycle is through self-command. Whenever an emotion rises strongly, anger, fear, frustration, pause before reacting. Take a slow breath and ask, what am I thinking that is creating this feeling? This simple question turns emotion into information. It teaches you to use feelings as signals, not dictators. For instance, if anxiety appears before an important task, the thought beneath might be, I'm not ready. That belief can then be challenged and replaced with a more constructive one. I may feel nervous, but I am capable of learning through this. Over time, this practice reshapes your emotional landscape and builds a mind that responds with calm strength. Clarity of thought requires mental cleanliness. Just as physical clutter drains energy, mental clutter, worry, overthinking, resentment blocks direction. The mind functions best when it is quiet and focused. Create moments of stillness daily. It could be a few minutes of deep breathing, a walk in silence, or sitting with your thoughts without judgment. These pauses reset your internal system, allowing you to think strategically rather than react emotionally. In those moments, you can examine your goals, your values, and whether your current actions align with the life you truly want. To design your direction, you must also define what direction means for you. Many people chase goals that belong to others, expectations set by family, society, or comparison. They measure success by standards that bring no peace. True direction is born from self-understanding. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to become? What values do I refuse to compromise? What impact do I want to have? These questions anchor you to a vision that feels authentic. When your thoughts align with your purpose, decision-making becomes easier. You stop scattering energy on distractions and start channeling it toward meaningful progress. Each day provides evidence of your dominant thoughts. The quality of your actions, relationships, and emotions reflect the quality of your inner world. If frustration is frequent, look at what you dwell on. If motivation feels low, examine your mental diet. what you read, what you watch, who you listen to. The mind absorbs whatever it is consistently exposed to. Feed it material that uplifts and challenges you. Read books that expand your thinking. Spend time with people who speak with purpose. Limit exposure to negativity and gossip, not because you are ignoring reality, but because you are protecting your energy to focus on building something greater. There will be days when your mind resists control. Old habits will resurface. Doubt will whisper that change is too hard, but persistence transforms resistance. The more consistently you redirect your thoughts, the weaker old patterns become. It is like training a muscle. The strength develops through repetition. When negative thinking arises, treat it as a signal to refocus. Replace self-criticism with self-direction. Instead of saying, "I always fail," say, "This time I will learn and improve." Each correction reinforces a new mental pathway, and eventually, positive thinking becomes your default response. It is also essential to guard against external influences that shape thought patterns. The world is filled with noise, news headlines, social media opinions, constant comparisons. Without awareness, you can easily absorb this chaos and mistake it for your own thinking. Protect your mental environment with boundaries. Schedule time away from digital input. Reflect before accepting other people's views as truth. Ask yourself whether their perspective serves your vision or distracts from it. You are the curator of your mental space. Everything you allow in should support the direction you are designing. Taking control of your thoughts is not about denying reality. It is about choosing how to respond to it. Life will present difficulties, but those difficulties are not commands. They are invitations to grow stronger. A disciplined mind does not crumble when things go wrong. It adjusts. It observes the problem, identifies what can be controlled, and lets go of what cannot. This mindset reduces unnecessary suffering and increases efficiency. It transforms stress into focus. By mastering thought, you learn to stay composed under pressure, make rational decisions, and maintain peace even in uncertainty. To practice this daily, start by setting an intention each morning. Before engaging with the world, decide the kind of mindset you want to carry through the day. It could be clarity, calmness, or determination. Write it down or repeat it silently. This mental command creates direction before circumstances begin to influence you. Throughout the day, check whether your actions align with that intention. If not, pause and reset. Over time, these small acts of mental accountability build remarkable inner stability. Another powerful exercise is to track recurring thoughts. Keep a simple journal where you write the thoughts that dominate your mind during challenges. After a week, review the patterns. Notice which beliefs empower you and which limit you. Challenge the limiting ones by questioning their truth. For example, if you often think, "I can't handle change," recall times you adapted successfully. Facts weaken false beliefs. Gradually, you replace limiting thoughts with realistic, empowering ones. This is how mental reprogramming happens, not through grand gestures, but through consistent self-correction. Mental direction also requires purpose-driven visualization. Visualization is not fantasy, it is rehearsal. When you repeatedly imagine yourself acting with confidence, making disciplined choices or achieving a goal, your brain begins to recognize those patterns as familiar. It reduces fear and strengthens commitment. Visualize your day before it begins. See yourself responding calmly to challenges, staying focused, finishing tasks. The more vividly you imagine, the more naturally those behaviors emerge. Your mind follows the images you feed it. When self-doubt appears, remember that it is a thought, not a fact. Doubt thrives on repetition. It loses power when confronted with evidence of your growth. Reflect on your progress regularly. Even small improvements, better focus, quicker recovery from negativity, more thoughtful decisions, are signs of mental control taking root. Celebrate those wins privately. They are milestones in the construction of your destiny. The Stoic perspective teaches that control begins and ends with the self. You cannot control what others do, think, or say, but you can control your attitude toward them. When you stop trying to manage the uncontrollable, you reclaim energy for what truly matters, your own responses, actions, and growth. This internal focus builds unshakable strength. It allows you to remain steady while others are lost in reaction. That steadiness becomes your advantage in every area of life. To design your direction, you must think beyond the present moment. Every thought should support where you want to go, not where you fear you might end up. When challenges come, remind yourself that you are shaping your future through your response. Ask, will this thought help me move forward, or will it keep me stuck? If it does not serve progress, release it. This mental filtering system keeps your energy aligned with your vision. Imagine your mind as the command center of your life. Every instruction you give it creates movement toward or away from your goals. If your thoughts are scattered, your actions will be unfocused. If your thoughts are disciplined, your actions will be intentional. Over time, those small, consistent directions build a powerful trajectory. That is how destiny is designed, not by luck or external opportunity, but by steady, deliberate thought patterns that guide every decision. True mental mastery also involves compassion. Being in control does not mean suppressing emotions or judging yourself for negative thoughts. It means understanding them with patience and steering them toward balance. When you make a mistake, analyze it calmly instead of sinking into guilt. Ask what it can teach you, adjust, and move forward. Self-compassion strengthens resilience because it prevents emotional burnout. The goal is not perfection, it is progress. The path of mastering thought is a lifelong discipline, not a quick fix. There will be moments of frustration, times when old thinking resurfaces, and days when clarity seems far away. But persistence always brings clarity back. Each time you observe, redirect, and reinforce constructive thinking, you strengthen your inner leadership. Over months and years, this quiet mastery compounds, shaping a life that reflects stability, purpose, and strength. When you finally realize that your thoughts create your reality, responsibility becomes liberation. You no longer wait for circumstances to improve. You begin improving your inner world, knowing that the outer world will follow. That shift marks the true beginning of destiny design. Life stops feeling random and starts feeling intentional. You become the strategist of your own existence, building a future that aligns with your deepest values. In the end, controlling your thoughts is not about control for its own sake. It is about freedom. It is about freeing yourself from the noise of fear, comparison, and self-doubt. It is about reclaiming the authority to decide what matters most and directing your energy toward it with calm confidence. Each day you practice this, you move closer to mastery. Each moment you choose clarity over chaos. You reinforce the foundation of a powerful life. The mind is both your greatest ally and your greatest challenge. If you neglect it, it leads you blindly. If you discipline it, it becomes your most loyal guide. Every breakthrough you seek, peace, success, purpose begins with this mastery. When you take control of your thoughts, you no longer drift, you navigate. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. That is how destiny is designed, through the steady, conscious guidance of a mind committed to growth, clarity, and purpose. And as this awareness deepens, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Life responds differently. Opportunities appear more clearly because your perception has sharpened. Relationships improve because your emotions are steadier. Goals become achievable because your focus no longer wavers. The world itself begins to reflect the order you have established within. That is the reward of inner mastery, the realization that your destiny was never written by chance. It was always waiting for your conscious design. By taking control of your thoughts, you step into authorship of your life. You begin shaping each day with intention, making decisions aligned with your highest values, and refusing to let fear or doubt dictate your path. From this point forward, every thought becomes a tool, every emotion a guide, and every action a step toward the future you have chosen. This is how you design your direction, not once, but every single day, with awareness, discipline, and unwavering commitment to the person you are becoming. Chapter 2. Build clear goals that match your true purpose. Change begins the moment you decide that your current habits no longer match the life you want to live. The turning point is not when life forces you to change, but when you take full responsibility for shaping the direction of your behavior. Everything you do repeatedly, every choice, every routine, every reaction, either builds your future or delays it. Habits are not small details of life, they are the structure upon which your destiny is built. If the foundation is weak, no amount of motivation can sustain long-term progress. To transform your life strategically, the first step is to identify the most crucial habits that need to change. Every person carries a collection of patterns that guide their days. Some are constructive, waking up early, exercising, planning ahead, while others, quietly sabotage progress, often disguised as comfort. You cannot fix what you do not see, and that is why awareness must come before improvement. Take a deep and honest look at your daily rhythm. Where does your time go? How do you respond to pressure? What actions drain your energy instead of restoring it? This kind of self-examination is not about judgment. It is about clarity. You are uncovering the blueprint of your current results, tracing them back to their source, your habits. There is no progress without self-honesty. Many people convince themselves that their habits are harmless, that skipping small commitments or giving in to distractions doesn't matter. But everything compounds. A habit repeated daily becomes a path, and a path walked long enough becomes a destination. If your actions are not leading you toward the future you want, then change must begin now. The power of transformation lies in your willingness to observe your patterns, without excuses. You cannot build excellence on top of avoidance. You must confront the truth about how you live, how you think, and what you prioritize. Identifying which habits to change requires reflection, not impulse. People often try to change too many things at once, which leads to burnout and frustration. Real transformation comes from precision. Focus on the few habits that create the greatest impact. Ask yourself, which behaviors consistently hold me back? What habits waste my mental energy or keep me stuck in cycles I no longer want to live in? Perhaps it's procrastination disguised as rest, constant overthinking that paralyzes decision-making, or negative self-talk that weakens your confidence. You must name them clearly, because what remains unnamed stays in control. Look closely at the first and last hours of your day. These windows reveal your priorities more than anything else. The morning sets your direction. The evening shapes your recovery. If you start your day without structure, scrolling, complaining, rushing, you send your mind into chaos before you even begin. If you end the day without reflection, consumed by noise and distraction, you never allow your mind to reset. Changing these two segments alone can alter your entire life. Build mornings around clarity and purpose. End nights with peace and gratitude. These small changes create a powerful shift in energy and focus. It is also necessary to examine the habits that live in your thoughts. The mind repeats familiar patterns, and those mental habits become emotional routines. Some people constantly imagine worst-case scenarios. Others replay regrets that have already taught their lesson. These internal loops consume strength that could be used for progress. Replace them with habits of thought that serve you. When you catch yourself drifting toward negativity, redirect it to a question that brings growth. What can I learn from this? Or what is one action I can take right now? Over time, your mind becomes a space of strategy, not self-sabotage. The habits connected to your health are another crucial foundation. A sharp mind depends on a strong body. Ignoring physical well-being limits mental clarity and emotional stability. Examine how you eat, move, and rest. These are not small matters. They determine the energy that fuels every decision. You do not need extreme routines, only consistent ones. Even modest improvements, hydrating more, walking daily, sleeping at regular times, restore balance and build discipline. When your body functions well, your focus sharpens and your motivation becomes sustainable. Identify the habits that drain your time but offer no return. Time is your most valuable resource, yet it is often wasted in invisible ways. Notice the hours lost to scrolling, the conversations that lead nowhere, the commitments made out of guilt instead of purpose. These are not neutral, they are silent thieves of your potential. Redesign your days by cutting what adds no value. Create boundaries around your time, because every yes to distraction is a no to direction. Productivity is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters most with full attention. It can be uncomfortable to admit which habits are holding you back, especially if they once served a purpose. Maybe a habit helped you survive a difficult time, or provided temporary comfort when you needed relief. But what once protected you can later restrict you. Growth requires letting go of patterns that no longer fit your current goals. Thank them for what they once gave you, then release them. Change becomes easier when you stop seeing it as punishment and start seeing it as evolution. Once you identify which habits need to change, study their triggers. Every habit follows a sequence, a cue, an action, and a reward. Understanding this sequence allows you to redesign it. For example, if stress triggers the habit of procrastination, replace the avoidance behavior with a short action that provides calm yet keeps you moving forward, like deep breathing or tackling one small part of the task. You are not erasing the habit, you are rewiring it. Change works best when it replaces, not when it removes without a substitute. Start with 1 or 2 critical habits, not 10. Momentum grows from mastery, not from overload. When you focus deeply on changing one pattern, your confidence increases, and that success creates energy for the next change. The aim is permanent transformation, not short bursts of effort. Build a system around the new behavior, set reminders, prepare your environment, remove temptation. Your surroundings shape your habits more than your motivation does. If you want to eat better, fill your kitchen with real food. If you want to read more, keep a book within reach. Design your environment so that your desired habits become the easiest option. Changing habits also requires patience. The mind resists change because familiarity feels safe, even when it is harmful. You will face moments when the old behavior calls you back. Do not mistake this resistance for failure. It is simply the brain's way of adjusting. The key is consistency. Every time you choose the new action, you strengthen a new pathway. Every time you stay committed despite discomfort, you prove to yourself that growth is possible. The process is not about perfection, it is about persistence. It helps to connect every new habit to a clear reason. Without meaning, discipline fades. When you know why a habit matters, commitment becomes automatic. For example, exercising becomes easier when you remember it's not just about fitness, it's about clarity, longevity, and self-respect. Waking up early is not about proving discipline, it's about giving yourself time to plan and live intentionally. Purpose transforms effort into fulfillment. Remind yourself daily of why this change matters, and your motivation will endure even when enthusiasm fades. Accountability accelerates habit change. Share your goals with someone who values growth, or track your progress in writing. When you measure your behavior, you increase your awareness. Progress recorded is progress reinforced. Celebrate consistency, even in small steps. Reward the process, not only the outcome. That simple recognition strengthens your identity as someone who follows through. Over time, this identity shift becomes your greatest asset. You stop forcing discipline because it becomes who you are. Changing habits also means redefining your relationship with failure. You will slip at times, but failure only matters if you stop trying. Every misstep reveals information: what triggered it, what emotion influenced it, what strategy you can improve. Use that feedback, not as proof of weakness, but as direction for refinement. Progress is rarely linear. It's built through correction and recommitment. The key is to return quickly after a setback, instead of allowing guilt to drag you back into the old pattern. When you commit to replacing weak habits with strong ones, life gradually shifts. Your decisions become more deliberate. Your energy stabilizes. You no longer live on autopilot. You begin to move with purpose. Change does not demand massive effort overnight. It demands consistent awareness and honest self-correction. One small adjustment practiced daily can alter the entire trajectory of your future. Transformation is not reserved for a few. It belongs to anyone willing to examine themselves with courage. The process begins with identification, knowing which habits help you rise and which hold you down. From there, you redesign your behavior with patience, focus, and strategy. You are not changing your nature, you are refining it. You are aligning your daily actions with the life you truly want to live. That alignment creates freedom, the kind that comes from mastery over yourself, not from external validation. In time, you will look back and see how those small, deliberate choices built a version of you that feels centered, strong, and capable. The person who once struggled to change will have become the person who creates change naturally. That is the reward of mastering your habits. Your life begins to run on principles instead of impulses, on purpose instead of reaction. When you start by identifying the most crucial habits to change and follow through with unwavering commitment, you are not just improving your days, you are redesigning your destiny, one consistent action at a time. Chapter 3. Create a daily plan that supports your long-term vision. A meaningful life is not built by accident, it is built through a series of intentional days. Every sunrise gives you a new opportunity to design how you move toward the future you want. The difference between drifting through time and directing your destiny lies in how you use each day. A powerful vision without structure remains a dream, but when supported by a daily plan, it becomes a living path. The people who achieve lasting success are not those who simply wish or wait. They organize their time with clarity and purpose. They understand that greatness is not found in bursts of effort, but in the quiet consistency of deliberate planning. Creating a daily plan that supports your long-term vision begins with understanding what truly matters to you. You cannot plan effectively for a future you have not defined. A vision gives meaning to every task and helps you separate the essential from the trivial. Many people fill their days with endless activity, yet make little progress because they confuse movement with advancement. The goal is not to stay busy, but to stay aligned. Before each day begins, remind yourself of the bigger picture, what you are building, who you are becoming, and why it matters. This awareness brings purpose to even the smallest actions. A strong daily plan acts like a compass. It keeps your attention pointed toward what leads to growth, even when distractions try to pull you away. The first step is to translate your long-term vision into clear priorities. Think of your vision as the destination and your daily plan as the map that gets you there. Break down that vision into smaller, measurable objectives that can be pursued step by step. Each day should include something that contributes to your progress, even if it is a small step forward. Over time, those steps create momentum, and momentum creates transformation. A well-designed plan respects both structure and flexibility. Structure gives you direction. Flexibility allows you to adapt. Life will always bring unexpected events, and rigid plans collapse under pressure. But when your plan is built around priorities instead of perfection, you stay in control no matter what happens. The key is to focus on what must be done, not everything that could be done. 3 or 4 focused tasks done with full attention will always produce more progress than a dozen scattered efforts. Protect your time for what truly moves you closer to your vision, and let go of what doesn't. Start each morning by defining your top priorities before the world interferes. Do not check messages or dive into distractions first thing. Instead, take a few quiet minutes to review what matters most for the day. Write down the specific actions that will push your goals forward, something measurable, realistic, and meaningful. This process gives your mind a clear starting point. When you begin your day with intention, you direct your energy instead of reacting to whatever appears. Each morning becomes a fresh declaration of your commitment to growth. Discipline thrives on clarity. Without a plan, the day controls you. With a plan, you control the day. That control does not mean perfection. It means direction. Each hour has a purpose, and each purpose connects to your vision. For example, if your long-term goal is to improve your financial independence, your daily plan might include studying investment principles, developing a skill, or managing your spending consciously. If your vision involves health and vitality, your daily actions must reflect that movement, nourishment, rest. Planning is not about adding pressure, it is about aligning choices with desired outcomes. Equally important is the habit of prioritizing time for reflection. A plan without review becomes mechanical. At the end of each day, take a few moments to evaluate how well your actions matched your intentions. Did you move closer to your vision, or did distractions take over? Did your choices reflect your values? Reflection transforms experience into wisdom. It helps you refine your system and avoid repeating the same mistakes. When you understand how your day unfolded, you can adjust tomorrow with greater precision. That is how discipline becomes progress, through awareness and adaptation. A powerful daily plan also considers energy management, not just time management. You may have 24 hours each day, but your energy is what determines how effectively those hours are used. Identify when you feel most alert and productive, and schedule your most important work during that time. Protect those hours fiercely. Use lower energy periods for routine tasks that require less mental effort. This approach ensures that your best energy is always devoted to your highest priorities. It prevents burnout and helps you maintain focus for the long haul. Eliminate the illusion of multitasking. The mind works best when focused on one task at a time. Divided attention produces shallow results and mental fatigue. A strong daily plan allocates clear blocks of time for deep, uninterrupted work. During those periods, silence distractions, close unnecessary tabs, and give your full attention to what matters. Single tasking increases both the quality and speed of your output. It also trains your mind to stay present, a skill that strengthens every area of life. Another essential element of an effective plan is preparation. The success of tomorrow begins tonight. Spend a few minutes each evening setting up for the next day, organizing materials, reviewing appointments, planning meals, laying out clothes, or writing down your goals. These small acts remove friction from the morning and create a sense of readiness. You wake up with direction instead of confusion. Preparation transforms ordinary mornings into purposeful beginnings, giving you a mental edge before the day even starts. Incorporate moments of rest and renewal into your schedule. Constant activity without recovery leads to exhaustion, not achievement. Your plan should include intentional pauses, moments to breathe, stretch, or simply step outside for a few minutes. These pauses sharpen focus and refresh creativity. Rest is not wasted time. It is part of the strategy. When your mind is clear and your body restored, you make better decisions and sustain momentum. Balance is the silent force behind consistency. One of the greatest mistakes people make when planning their days is overestimating what they can do in a short time while underestimating what consistent effort can do in the long term. A daily plan is not a test of endurance. It is a framework for growth. You don't need to accomplish everything in one day. You need to stay consistent with what matters most. Each completed task, each disciplined choice, is a small piece of a larger masterpiece. Progress may seem slow at times, but compounded effort creates extraordinary results. To make your plan sustainable, tie it to your values. When your actions reflect what you genuinely care about, discipline becomes natural. For instance, if you value learning, make space daily for reading or skill development. If you value connection, dedicate time to meaningful communication with loved ones. A plan that honors your values keeps you grounded in purpose and prevents you from chasing empty goals. Success built without alignment eventually feels hollow, but success that matches your values brings peace. Review your plan weekly to ensure it still aligns with your long-term vision. Life evolves, and so should your strategy. Sometimes, what once mattered deeply no longer fits your path. Adjust without guilt. Adaptation is strength, not failure. Use these reviews to celebrate what's working, correct what isn't, and set intentions for the week ahead. This practice keeps your direction sharp and your motivation renewed. Consistency in planning breeds clarity, and clarity creates confidence. It is easy to underestimate the power of daily planning because it appears simple, yet this simplicity hides its strength. Most people drift not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack structure. A clear plan transforms potential into performance. It ensures that every day contributes to the bigger vision instead of being lost to randomness. When your days are guided by purpose, life begins to move in harmony with your aspirations. You stop chasing meaning and start living it. Over time, you will notice that your life becomes more ordered, not by control, but by choice. You will wake up knowing exactly what deserves your attention. You will end each day with a sense of progress, not because everything went perfectly, but because you remained aligned. This kind of consistency builds confidence and inner peace. It turns ordinary routines into powerful rituals that move you closer to your long-term goals with quiet precision. The secret to building a remarkable life is not in doing extraordinary things once, but in doing ordinary things with excellence every single day. A well-structured daily plan is not a limitation, it is freedom. The freedom to know that every moment is being used with intention. When you live by design, you stop waiting for the right time to pursue your vision. You realize that the right time is every day, guided by your plan, fueled by your purpose, and directed by your will. Each morning becomes a new opportunity to reaffirm your commitment to the life you are building. Each evening becomes a reflection of the progress you've made. This rhythm, practiced over time, creates a deep sense of mastery. The path may not always be smooth, but with a clear daily plan tied to your long-term vision, you never lose direction. You become the designer of your days, the shaper of your habits, and the creator of your destiny, one deliberate day at a time. Chapter 4. Develop strong discipline to follow your chosen path. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is not a punishment or a restriction, but a quiet force that separates the dreamers from the doers. Many people begin their journey with energy and excitement, but only those who build discipline stay long enough to see their vision take shape. When emotion fades and motivation runs dry, discipline becomes the structure that keeps you standing. Without it, even the best intentions crumble. With it, even the smallest steps lead to transformation. Discipline is not something you wait to feel ready for. It is something you choose to practice daily, especially when you least feel like it. The truth is, every great achievement you admire in others came from thousands of small moments of disciplined action. The athlete training before sunrise, the writer who continues to work through self-doubt, the parent who provides consistency for their family, none of them succeed because of luck. They succeed because they learned to act according to their purpose, not their moods. You have that same power. You can decide right now to create structure in your life that supports your goals, even when distractions try to pull you away. Discipline means doing what must be done, not what feels easiest in the moment. Discipline begins with clarity. You cannot stay consistent if you do not know what matters most. Once you understand your direction, you can design routines that reinforce it. Start by identifying the actions that directly move you toward your purpose. If your goal is to be healthy, discipline means showing up for your workouts and nourishing your body, even on the days when convenience tempts you. If your dream is to build a business, discipline means dedicating time each day to your craft, even when progress feels slow. Discipline doesn't have to be harsh. It can be a calm, confident commitment to yourself that no matter what happens, you will not quit on your values. The most powerful thing about discipline is that it builds momentum. Every time you follow through on your promise to yourself, you strengthen your character. You begin to see yourself as someone who can be trusted to finish what you start. This self-trust becomes your foundation. The more you practice discipline, the less you depend on willpower or motivation, because your habits start doing the work for you. You no longer ask, "Do I feel like doing this?" You simply do it, because that is who you are now. And when your identity shifts to match your actions, consistency becomes effortless. To develop strong discipline, you must also learn to control your environment. Discipline thrives in structure and dies in chaos. Remove temptations that make you forget your goals. Turn off notifications that steal your attention. Keep your space organized so your mind remains clear. Surround yourself with people who encourage consistency, not excuses. Your environment should remind you of who you are becoming, not who you used to be. The fewer decisions you have to make in the moment, the easier it becomes to follow through. For example, prepare your clothes the night before, plan your meals, and schedule your day in advance. Discipline is not about being rigid. It's about designing life in a way that makes the right choices easier to repeat. There will always be moments of resistance. You will face fatigue, boredom, and frustration. These are not signs to stop. They are signals that you are growing stronger. Discipline is forged in discomfort. When you continue to act despite resistance, you prove that your commitment is greater than your feelings. This doesn't mean ignoring rest or emotion. It means not allowing them to control your direction. Think of it this way. Comfort may give you relief for a day, but discipline gives you freedom for a lifetime. Every time you choose discipline over ease, you are choosing the life you truly want over the moment you temporarily crave. You may fail, and that is fine. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. Each failure is feedback. If you miss a day, learn from it and return stronger the next day. The goal is not to be flawless, it is to stay consistent over time. The power of discipline is cumulative. One day of discipline may seem small, but a year of it can change everything. What truly matters is that you don't give up when progress slows. Some days you will move forward fast, others only an inch. But even when you move slowly, you're still moving. The person who keeps walking eventually reaches the summit, while the one who stops keeps wondering how far they could have gone. To stay disciplined, you must also redefine how you see progress. Results don't always appear quickly, but that doesn't mean your effort is wasted. Every disciplined act shapes your character, sharpens your focus, and strengthens your resolve. The path to mastery is invisible at first. You may not see change in a week or a month, but over time your consistency compounds. Just like the seed that grows underground before breaking the surface, your efforts are building something you cannot yet see. Trust the process. You're not just working toward results, you're building a stronger version of yourself with each disciplined choice you make. A useful mindset for discipline is to stop waiting for inspiration and start relying on structure. Create clear routines that you follow no matter how you feel. For example, if your goal is to write, set a specific time every day to sit and write, even if you only produce one sentence. If your goal is to get fit, commit to showing up at the same hour daily, even if your workout feels shorter than usual. The act of showing up consistently trains your mind to stay loyal to your goals. Discipline grows from the repetition of small commitments. Over time, these commitments compound into power and self-respect. Another important truth is that discipline requires self-respect. When you break a promise to yourself, it weakens your confidence. But when you honor your word, even in private, you strengthen your inner belief. Discipline is a declaration that your goals are worthy of effort. You stop negotiating with yourself and you start acting in alignment with your purpose. That quiet pride of knowing you did what needed to be done, even when no one was watching, builds a deep sense of inner peace. That peace is stronger than any external praise. There will be people who misunderstand your discipline. They may call it obsession or rigidity. They might not understand why you turn down distractions or why you choose to spend time building something instead of indulging in comfort. But discipline is not about proving anything to others. It's about honoring your own values. It's about knowing that a structured life leads to greater freedom, the freedom to live on your terms, to pursue what matters, and to build a legacy of integrity. Discipline allows you to move with intention instead of reaction, to create instead of consume, and to lead instead of follow. In time, discipline becomes a source of pride rather than pressure. It transforms from something you have to do into something you want to do because you've seen how powerful it makes you feel. You begin to crave that sense of control, that clarity, that strength that comes from consistent effort. You stop chasing motivation because discipline gives you stability. You realize that you don't need to wait for the perfect moment, because every moment you act with discipline is already perfect for growth. True discipline also means learning balance. It's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion, it's about steady and sustainable effort. Rest when needed, but never quit. Renewal is part of discipline. A rested mind performs better than a burned-out one. So learn when to pause and when to push. Discipline is not punishment, It's wisdom in motion. It teaches you when to act, when to reflect, and when to restore your strength for the next step. Every day gives you a new opportunity to prove your discipline. Each morning is a blank page, waiting for your actions to write your story. Your habits, your choices, and your consistency determine what kind of story it becomes. If you commit to showing up every day, no matter how small the effort, you will eventually surpass everyone who waits for the right time. The disciplined person may not always move the fastest, but they always reach the finish line. The real reward of discipline is not just success. It is self-mastery. It's the peace of knowing that your emotions no longer control you, that your mind is your ally, and that your actions are guided by purpose, not impulse. When you live with discipline, you stop being at the mercy of your circumstances. You take command of your energy, your time, and your destiny. The world respects those who can command themselves, because that is the rarest strength of all. So, develop discipline as your constant companion. Treat it not as a burden, but as your greatest advantage. Nurture it through structure, practice it through consistency, and protect it through awareness. Discipline turns dreams into plans, and plans into achievements. It gives you the power to walk with calm certainty while others hesitate. When you live by discipline, your path becomes clear, your focus becomes sharp, and your life begins to move in the direction of your deepest purpose. That is the foundation of all greatness, the ability to follow through on what truly matters, no matter how long it takes. Chapter 5. Eliminate distractions that steal your focus and time. Focus is your most valuable currency in life. Every dream, every goal, every piece of progress you make depends on how well you protect it. The truth is, most people don't lose their potential because of a lack of talent or opportunity. They lose it because of distraction. Every time you let your attention drift towards something meaningless, you delay the life you are capable of living. In a world full of noise, protecting your focus is an act of strength. The ability to stay present, intentional, and undisturbed by chaos has become one of the rarest and most powerful skills you can develop. Distraction doesn't always appear as something negative. Sometimes it comes disguised as comfort, entertainment, or even harmless habits. You tell yourself it's just a few minutes on your phone, just one more show, just one more conversation that adds nothing to your purpose. But slowly those minutes turn into hours, and those hours into days of lost potential. Distraction steals silently. It doesn't knock on your door, it slips in through routine, and before you realize it, you're living in a constant state of interruption, never fully present in anything you do. To eliminate distraction, you must first recognize its subtle influence on your life. Most people think distraction is about attention, but at its core, it's about direction. When you are clear about what you want, it becomes easier to say no to what doesn't serve it. Clarity creates strength. Without it, everything around you will compete for your energy. Start by defining what truly matters. What are the goals that align with your deeper purpose? What kind of person are you trying to become? Once you answer these questions with honesty, you can filter your time through them. Anything that does not move you closer to your vision becomes a distraction, no matter how tempting or entertaining it may seem. To reclaim your focus, you must learn to take control of your environment. Your surroundings influence your behavior far more than you realize. If your workspace is cluttered, your mind will be too. If your phone is within reach, your attention will wander. The mind naturally seeks stimulation, and distractions are designed to feed that craving. That is why you must create an environment where focus becomes the easy choice. Remove unnecessary notifications, silence background noise, and organize your space so that only the essentials remain. Every object within your sight should serve a purpose or inspire discipline. Simplicity builds focus, clutter breeds confusion. Another powerful way to protect your focus is to master your digital life. Technology is one of the greatest tools in human history, but it can also be one of the greatest thieves of time. Social media platforms are built to keep your attention, not free it. Each notification, each scroll, each meaningless click drains your mental energy. You cannot think deeply when your attention is scattered across a dozen screens. Set clear boundaries for your digital use. Designate specific times to check messages or news. Delete apps that add no real value. Turn your phone into a tool, not a trap. The goal is not to reject technology but to use it intentionally. Distractions are not always external. Some of the most dangerous ones come from within. Worry, overthinking, comparison and self-doubt can consume more time than any device ever will. When your mind keeps replaying the past or anticipating the future, you lose presence in the now, the only place where action and growth truly happen. To overcome internal distractions, you must train your mind to return to the present moment. When you find yourself drifting, pause and breathe. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it's not useful, let it go. Mental discipline comes from awareness. The more you practice noticing your thoughts, the easier it becomes to direct them toward what matters. Focus also demands boundaries with people. Not everyone in your life will respect your time, and not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people bring clarity and support, while others bring noise and confusion. If you constantly find yourself drained after conversations, it's a sign that your energy is being spent on the wrong interactions. Learn to say no without guilt. Protect your peace as if your future depends on it, because it does. Surround yourself with individuals who value growth, respect your goals, and push you toward your higher potential. Energy is contagious. Choose wisely whose energy you allow near yours. Time management is another form of focus protection. When you don't control your schedule, distractions will control it for you. Plan your day with purpose. Assign clear time blocks for your most important work and treat those hours as sacred. During that time, remove everything that competes for your attention. Close unnecessary tabs, silence your phone, and focus on one task until it's complete. Multitasking may feel productive, but it fragments your attention and reduces the quality of your effort. True productivity is about depth, not speed. Give your full attention to one thing, finish it with excellence, and then move to the next. One of the most overlooked distractions is mental clutter. This happens when you carry too many unfinished tasks, unmade decisions, and unresolved thoughts. Each open loop occupies space in your mind and drains your focus. To clear this clutter, build a simple system for organization. Write down your tasks, schedule your priorities, and make decisions promptly. The moment you write something down, your brain releases it from the constant loop of remembering. A clear mind works faster and thinks deeper. Clarity is not about doing more, it's about doing less with greater focus. You also need rest to maintain focus. A tired mind is easily distracted. Many people push themselves to exhaustion, mistaking busyness for productivity. But fatigue blurs clarity. Rest is not the opposite of focus. It sustains it. Prioritize quality sleep. Take short breaks during long work sessions, and give yourself moments of stillness. The most effective people in the world understand that recovery is part of performance. When your mind is calm, your attention sharpens naturally. Focus requires energy, and energy requires care. Another important truth is that focus thrives on purpose. When you are deeply connected to the reason behind your actions, distractions lose their power. Purpose acts as an anchor. Even when challenges arise or temptations appear, your inner clarity keeps you grounded. Ask yourself daily, why am I doing this? If your answer is strong, you will find strength in moments of weakness. If it's unclear, distractions will find their way back. Purpose turns discipline into devotion. It transforms focus from a task into a lifestyle. Sometimes, eliminating distraction means embracing solitude. Many people fear silence because it forces them to confront their thoughts, but solitude is where focus is reborn. Spend time alone with your goals, reflect on your progress, and recalibrate your direction. In the quiet, your mind finds order. You begin to notice patterns, priorities, and solutions that were hidden beneath the noise. Make solitude a habit, not an escape. It's in silence that your greatest ideas are formed. To maintain lasting focus, you must also learn to accept imperfection. The pursuit of perfection can become a distraction itself. You waste time trying to make everything flawless instead of finishing what matters. Progress, not to perfection, is the path to mastery. Focus on consistent improvement and let results evolve naturally. The more you act, the more clarity you gain. The more clarity you gain, the easier it becomes to see which distractions no longer belong in your life. You will never completely eliminate every distraction, but you can control your response to them. You can choose awareness over reaction. You can decide what deserves your time and what doesn't. You can create a mental filter that separates what's urgent from what's important. Every time you choose to focus, you are training your brain to prioritize what truly matters. It's a daily practice, not a one-time decision. When you protect your attention, you protect your destiny. Focus turns effort into progress and time into transformation. The hours you save from distractions become the foundation for everything you want to achieve. Each moment of concentration adds strength to your future. The world will always offer noise, but the wise learn to stay still within it. You have the power to reclaim your focus, to remove what wastes your potential, and to build a life directed by intention rather than interruption. The day you take your attention seriously is the day your results begin to change forever. Chapter 6. Make every decision based on your highest priorities. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you are becoming. Each choice, no matter how small, shapes the direction of your life. The difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck lies not in talent or luck, but in the quality of their decisions. When you learn to make decisions based on your highest priorities, you stop living by impulse and start living by intention. Your life begins to align with your values, your time gains meaning, and your actions begin to serve a clear purpose. Most people make decisions in reaction to their circumstances. They say yes when they should say no. They choose comfort over growth, and they let urgency overpower importance. They fill their days with endless activity, yet make little meaningful progress. But true fulfillment doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing what matters most. Every time you decide to focus on what's essential, you reclaim control of your life. The moment you stop letting noise dictate your direction, you begin to design a life that reflects who you truly are. To make every decision based on your highest priorities, you must first know what those priorities are. Clarity is power. You cannot make wise choices if you don't know what you're choosing them for. Your highest priorities are not just tasks or goals. They are the principles and purposes that define your life. They are the values that guide you when everything else feels uncertain. Take time to define them clearly. What do you want your life to stand for? What kind of person do you want to be remembered as? What truly matters to you beyond the opinions and expectations of others? Once you answer these questions honestly, you create a compass that helps you make aligned decisions. Every day, you are faced with choices that either bring you closer to or further from your purpose. The challenge is that not every good opportunity is the right one. Some paths may look appealing, but lead you away from your true direction. Discipline in decision-making means learning to say no, even to things that seem attractive but don't match your deeper goals. Each yes should be earned by your purpose. When you make choices through the filter of your priorities, you stop scattering your energy. You become focused, deliberate, and efficient in everything you do. Decision-making becomes easier when you adopt a long-term perspective. Many people sacrifice their future for momentary comfort. They chase instant rewards without considering their lasting cost. But every short-term indulgence has long-term consequences. True wisdom lies in choosing what serves your future self, not just your present emotions. When you make decisions from the viewpoint of who you want to become 5 or 10 years from now, your clarity deepens. You stop asking, what feels good right now, and start asking, what will move me forward in the long run? That shift alone transforms the quality of every choice you make. It's also essential to understand that not making a decision is still a decision. Avoidance is a silent thief of progress. When you hesitate, delay, or overthink, life moves on without your permission. Indecision creates confusion and wastes energy. The key is to decide consciously, even when uncertainty is present. Not every decision will be perfect, but each one teaches you something valuable. Mistakes made in pursuit of your purpose are better than perfection achieved through inaction. Progress begins when you learn to trust yourself enough to choose, adjust, and grow. One way to strengthen your decision-making is to use reflection as a guide. Before making an important choice, pause and ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my purpose? Does it move me closer to my vision? Will it matter a year from now? These questions bring immediate clarity. If the answer is no, you already know what to do. The ability to pause before reacting is a mark of maturity. It separates those who live intentionally from those who live impulsively. You begin to see that every yes requires a no, and every no creates space for what truly matters. To make better decisions, you must also learn to manage your emotions. Many people make choices driven by fear, anger, or impatience. Emotional decision-making often leads to regret, because emotions are temporary, but consequences are lasting. When you feel pressure, step back and give yourself space to think clearly. Wisdom grows in calmness. Never make a major decision in a state of frustration or excitement. Wait until your mind is still. A calm mind sees patterns that an anxious one misses. When you master your emotions, you master your decisions. Time is another measure of priority. How you spend your time reveals what truly matters to you. Many claim to have certain priorities, yet their schedules tell a different story. If your goals are important, they should occupy the best parts of your day, not the leftover moments. Rearrange your time to reflect your true values. Block off hours for what contributes directly to your growth and success. Protect those hours as if they are sacred, because they are. Every minute spent on your priorities compounds over time, creating results that distractions can never produce. Your decisions also influence the people you attract and the environments you stay in. When you make choices from your highest values, you naturally align with others who live by the same principles. This alignment creates strength and stability. But if you compromise your values to please others, you lose both integrity and direction. Be selective about the company you keep and the commitments you make. Every relationship, project, or collaboration should serve a shared sense of purpose. The wrong environment can make the right decision difficult. The right environment makes discipline natural. It's also vital to trust your intuition when logic isn't enough. Your intuition is not guesswork. It's the wisdom built from experience and awareness. When something doesn't feel right, pay attention. Often your inner guidance senses what your conscious mind hasn't yet processed. The key is balance. Use reason to analyze and intuition to confirm. Together, they form a powerful compass for decision-making. Listening to yourself builds confidence. Confidence builds consistency. Consistency builds results. Each decision you make is a signal to the universe about what you believe you deserve. When you make choices that align with your higher priorities, you communicate that you value your time, your peace, and your growth. But when you constantly choose what is easy over what is right, you send the opposite message. You tell life that you are willing to settle. You can't expect extraordinary results from ordinary choices. Every moment gives you a chance to raise your standards through the decisions you make. The truth is, you will never have complete certainty about every choice. Life will always involve risk. But the goal isn't to remove risk. It's to ensure that the risk you take leads you in the right direction. Trust that every aligned decision, even if it's difficult, moves you closer to where you belong. The path may not always be smooth, but clarity will always lead you home. When your choices reflect your priorities, even the challenges you face feel purposeful because you know they are part of your greater design. Making decisions from your highest priorities also means letting go of guilt. You cannot please everyone and still stay true to your path. Some people will misunderstand your boundaries or question your focus, but you don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing alignment. Guilt is often the voice of old habits, trying to pull you back. Remember that protecting your time and energy is not selfish, it's self-respect. You are not rejecting others, you are honoring your purpose. Over time, making decisions based on your highest priorities becomes a natural rhythm. You begin to see patterns of success forming in your life. The noise fades, and what remains is clarity, confidence, and calm. You no longer chase everything, you move deliberately toward what matters. Each choice reinforces your direction, and with every aligned action, you build a stronger sense of identity. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start knowing exactly what to do, because your principles lead the way. In the end, decision-making is not just about choosing between options, it's about choosing the kind of life you want to live. Every yes, every no, every pause, and every action either brings you closer to or further from your vision. When you live by your highest priorities, life becomes simpler, more focused, and infinitely more meaningful. You no longer react to the world, you shape it through conscious choice. That is the true art of personal mastery, to live each day guided not by impulse or fear, but by clarity, purpose, and unwavering self-respect. Chapter 7. Train your mind to think with clarity and confidence. Confidence is not something you're born with. It's something you build every day by training your mind to think clearly, calmly, and decisively, no matter what life throws at you. The way you think determines the quality of your choices, and your choices shape the direction of your entire life. That's why mental clarity and confidence aren't just personal traits, they're the foundation of success. When your mind is clear, your actions become purposeful. When your confidence is strong, hesitation disappears. You stop doubting yourself, stop comparing your journey to others, and start moving with quiet certainty toward what truly matters. The first step to developing that clarity is learning to silence the constant noise around you. The world is full of distractions, opinions, judgments, fears, and comparisons that cloud your mind and pull you off course. If you want to think clearly, you must create moments of stillness. Spend time each day away from screens, conversations, and expectations. Sit with your own thoughts and listen to what your inner voice is saying. At first, it may be uncomfortable. You'll notice how scattered your mind feels, how quickly it jumps from one worry to another. But stay with it. Clarity grows in the space between distractions. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes to focus on what truly matters. Once the noise fades, you start to notice the patterns of your thinking. Are your thoughts empowering or limiting? Do you talk yourself into opportunities or out of them? The mind will always follow the direction of your dominant thoughts. If you constantly imagine failure, your mind prepares for it. But if you train it to focus on solutions, growth, and action, it starts working in your favor. Thinking clearly means catching those unhelpful thoughts early and replacing them with truth. For example, instead of saying, "I can't handle this," you say, "I'm learning how to handle this." That small shift rewires your brain to look for strength instead of weakness. Over time, this becomes automatic. You stop being your own obstacle and start being your own ally. Clarity also comes from simplifying your life. Too many people feel mentally overwhelmed because their attention is divided among too many things. They chase every opportunity, try to please everyone, and end up feeling drained. The mind cannot stay clear in chaos. You must learn to say no. Not out of fear, but out of focus. When you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to what matters most. The more you remove unnecessary commitments, the more space you create for meaningful progress. Mental clarity thrives in simplicity. Confidence, on the other hand, is the result of keeping promises to yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, no matter how small, you build trust in your own ability. Confidence doesn't come from pretending you're fearless. It comes from proving to yourself that you can act despite fear. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your self-belief. The moment you decide to take consistent action instead of waiting to feel ready, you start to transform your self-image. You stop asking, "Can I do this?" and start saying, "I'll find a way to do this." That shift in mindset creates momentum, and momentum is what builds unstoppable confidence. Another key to training your mind is learning how to separate emotion from logic. Emotions are powerful, but they're temporary. If you make decisions in the heat of frustration, fear, or doubt, you'll often regret them later. Thinking with clarity means learning to pause. When something triggers you, take a breath before reacting. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this situation? Then choose your response based on your long-term goal, not your short-term emotion. That's how confident people think. They don't allow fleeting feelings to control lasting decisions. They remain composed, objective, and grounded, even when others lose control. To think with confidence, you must also feed your mind with quality information. Your thoughts are shaped by what you consume. If you spend hours listening to negativity, you'll start to see the world through a negative lens. If you surround yourself with disciplined, solution-oriented thinkers, your mind naturally sharpens. Read books that challenge you. Watch content that educates you. Listen to people who have walked the path you're on. The quality of your input determines the strength of your output. Clarity and confidence are built by feeding your mind truth, wisdom, and perspective instead of noise. Thinking clearly also requires understanding what you truly value. If you don't know what matters most to you, your thoughts will be scattered. Take time to define your priorities. What kind of life do you want to live? What principles do you stand for? What kind of person do you want to become? Once you know your values, decision-making becomes simple. You stop wasting energy on confusion because your direction is guided by something deeper than convenience. It's guided by conviction. Confidence grows when your choices align with your values because you no longer need external approval. You know who you are and what you stand for. Your mind becomes stronger when you challenge it regularly. Just like the body needs exercise, your thinking needs discipline. Push yourself to solve problems instead of avoiding them. When you make mistakes, analyze them instead of blaming others. When you face uncertainty, focus on what you can control. This mental discipline trains your mind to remain steady in chaos. It teaches you that clarity isn't the absence of problems, it's the ability to stay focused and calm while solving them. Confidence isn't built when everything is easy. It's built when you stay steady through the storm. There will be days when your thoughts feel scattered again, when your focus wavers, or when self-doubt sneaks in. That's normal. What matters is how you respond. Don't let a moment of uncertainty turn into a pattern of hesitation. Recognize it, reset, and move forward. Every time you take control of your thoughts, you strengthen your mental foundation. Clarity is not something you achieve once, it's something you maintain daily. Confidence is not something you feel all the time, it's something you practice every time you choose courage over comfort. When you train your mind to think with clarity and confidence, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. You stop living by chance and start living by choice. The noise of the world no longer sways you because you've learned to listen to the quiet strength within you. Every decision becomes intentional. Every step moves you closer to your goals, and every challenge becomes an opportunity to grow sharper, wiser, and more certain of your path. That's the real power of a trained mind. It gives you the calm, focus, and self-assurance to move through life with purpose, no matter what stands in your way. Chapter 8. Learn from every failure and adjust your next move. Failure is not the end of your story. It's the most valuable part of it. Every time you fall short, you're being handed information that no success can give you. It's not there to humiliate you. It's there to shape you. The people who achieve extraordinary results aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop learning from it. When you train yourself to see failure as feedback, you stop fearing it. You begin to understand that each setback is a message, a correction, a redirection towards something better. The truth is, you will fail. You will misjudge, miscalculate, and make mistakes. But what separates those who grow from those who quit is the ability to analyze the failure instead of taking it personally. The moment you shift from asking, "Why did this happen to me?" to "What can I learn from this?" everything changes. That one question turns pain into progress. It transforms disappointment into direction. Every failure holds a lesson about what didn't work. Maybe your approach was rushed, maybe your timing was wrong, or maybe your preparation wasn't deep enough. The lesson is there if you're willing to look at it with honesty instead of ego. Most people don't grow because they protect their ego more than their potential. They make a mistake, feel embarrassed, and then retreat. They stop trying because failure made them feel inadequate. But confidence isn't built by avoiding mistakes. It's built by facing them. When you dissect what went wrong without judgment, you begin to see patterns. You notice how your emotions, choices, and habits contributed to the outcome. That awareness becomes your advantage. Every reflection strengthens your strategy. Every lesson makes your next move sharper. Learning from failure means staying calm in the face of frustration. When something doesn't work, the natural instinct is to get angry, blame circumstances, or give up. But if you can stay composed long enough to study the failure, you'll find valuable clues that others overlook. Success often hides behind these quiet moments of reflection. It's the person who pauses, reviews, and adjusts who ultimately move ahead. Each failure is like a test. It reveals what still needs to be improved. The faster you analyze it, the faster you evolve. Another powerful mindset shift is to stop labeling failures as disasters and start labeling them as data. You're simply gathering information. When a plan doesn't work, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It means that version of the plan was flawed. The project, the relationship, the decision, it was a test run, not a permanent verdict. Once you treat failure as a temporary result, not a final outcome, you'll stop letting it define your worth. You'll start using it as fuel. Every failed attempt eliminates one wrong path and brings you closer to the right one. Failure also teaches humility. It reminds you that progress takes patience and precision. When you fail, you realize that no one is exempt from correction, not even the best. The greatest minds, the strongest leaders, the most successful entrepreneurs have all stumbled countless times. The difference is, they didn't let their failures stop them. They turned those experiences into training. They saw failure as a mentor that exposed their weaknesses and gave them the exact tools to strengthen them. When you embrace that attitude, failure stops being painful. It becomes purposeful. Adjusting your next move after a failure requires courage. It's easy to repeat the same actions, hoping for different results. It's harder to admit that your method wasn't effective and needs change. Growth demands that you be flexible. You must be willing to replace what doesn't work with what does, even if it means leaving behind something familiar. This is where real transformation begins. You don't cling to your old ways, you refine them. You build new systems, adopt new habits, and test new approaches until the results improve. That's how you evolve, by refusing to stay stuck in patterns that failed you. You also need to separate failure from identity. Just because something failed doesn't mean you're a failure. There's a massive difference between failing at something and being defined by it. People who take failure personally lose the motivation to try again. But those who see it objectively, who understand that it's part of the learning curve, are the ones who keep improving. The key is to detach emotionally and look at the facts. What exactly went wrong? What could you have done differently? What will you change next time? Those questions turn regret into responsibility. And once you take responsibility, you take control. Sometimes failure happens even when you did everything right. The timing wasn't ideal, the market wasn't ready, or people didn't see your vision yet. That doesn't mean your effort was wasted. It means you're being prepared for a stronger comeback. Every setback sharpens your awareness and strengthens your character. The patience you build, the resilience you develop, the self-control you gain, all of it prepares you to handle success when it finally arrives. You're not being punished by failure, you're being prepared by it. When you adjust your next move, don't rush. Sit with the lesson long enough to understand it fully. Evaluate what needs to be improved: your mindset, your plan, your consistency, or your environment. Maybe you need better preparation. Maybe you need to simplify your goals. Maybe you need to eliminate certain influences that cloud your judgment. Every lesson points to an adjustment. Once you see it clearly, take deliberate action. Apply what you've learned immediately so that the failure doesn't repeat itself. The best way to honor a failure is to grow from it. Don't waste it by repeating the same mistakes or by complaining about the outcome. Turn it into wisdom. Write down what you discovered, share it with others, use it as a reminder of your strength. The more you learn from failure, the less it intimidates you. Eventually you stop fearing it entirely. You realize that even if you fall again, you have the mindset to rise faster. That is the true reward of failing forward. It builds a kind of inner confidence that success alone cannot give you. You should also learn to celebrate small recoveries. Every time you bounce back after a mistake, you're proving that you have resilience. Every time you face discomfort and still move forward, you're training your mind to stay unshaken. Failure isn't supposed to destroy you. It's supposed to refine you. It strips away what's weak and reveals what's real. Once you accept that truth, you stop resisting failure and start respecting it. You treat it as an essential part of your development. When you learn from every failure and adjust your next move, life becomes a process of continuous growth. You don't fear falling, you focus on improving. You don't waste energy on shame, you invest it in strategy. Every setback becomes a setup for a smarter approach. You become adaptable, grounded, and strategic. You understand that mastery is built through repetition, reflection, and refinement. Each time you fail, you grow sharper, stronger, and more prepared. And one day, you look back and realize that what once felt like defeat was actually the foundation of your success. Chapter 9. Strengthen your emotional control to face any challenge. Real power begins the moment you stop letting emotions control your actions. The ability to stay calm when everything around you is uncertain is one of the strongest skills a person can develop. When your emotions dominate your decisions, your life becomes reactive, but when you master your emotions, you become deliberate, clear, and unstoppable. Every challenge you face becomes an opportunity to prove your strength, not a reason to lose control. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing what you feel. It means understanding what you feel and choosing how to respond. You cannot stop anger, fear, or frustration from showing up, but you can decide how long they stay. Every emotion sends a signal about your internal state, but it's your responsibility to interpret that signal with wisdom. When you immediately react to every emotion, you give away your power, but when you pause, observe, and act with clarity, you take it back. This is where true emotional strength begins, in the space between what happens and how you respond. Every challenge you encounter will test your emotional balance. You'll face unfair treatment, rejection, delays, and unexpected losses. These moments are not meant to break you, but to show you how deeply you understand yourself. If you allow every difficulty to dictate your mood, you'll live in constant chaos. But if you maintain composure when life gets hard, you'll see problems with sharper vision. The ability to stay calm when others panic gives you an advantage that few possess. While others lose time complaining or reacting, you stay focused on solutions. You strengthen emotional control by practicing awareness. Awareness means catching yourself before emotions take over. It's recognizing the signs of tension, the racing thoughts, the tight chest, the rising frustration, and grounding yourself before they spiral. One powerful habit is to pause before reacting. Take a breath, count to 5. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this moment? That short pause often prevents you from saying or doing something you'll regret later. Over time, this practice rewires your brain to respond calmly, even under pressure. Another key to mastering your emotions is perspective. Most emotional pain doesn't come from what happens. It comes from how you interpret what happens. A single event can feel like a disaster or a lesson depending on how you choose to see it. When you expand your perspective, your emotions lose intensity. You realize that one bad day doesn't define your life, one rejection doesn't destroy your potential, and one argument doesn't erase your worth. Perspective gives you emotional space. It reminds you that life is bigger than any single moment. Emotional control also requires humility. You can't manage your emotions if you believe you're above them. People who think they should never feel anger, fear, or sadness end up suppressing those emotions instead of managing them. The goal isn't to become emotionless, it's to become emotionally intelligent. That means allowing yourself to feel, but not letting feelings make your decisions. It means acknowledging pain without drowning in it. It means recognizing that disappointment and patience can coexist, that fear and courage can live in the same heart. Self-discipline plays a major role in emotional strength. Every time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you build mental endurance. Every time you choose patience over anger, focus over frustration, or silence over argument, you're training your inner stability. Emotional control grows through repetition. Just like any muscle, you'll fail at times, you'll lose your temper, you'll overreact, but each time you correct yourself, you strengthen your awareness. Over time, what used to trigger you no longer holds the same power. You also need to understand that emotions are contagious. The people you surround yourself with influence how you feel and how you react. If you're constantly around those who complain, panic, or gossip, you'll absorb their energy without realizing it. Protect your emotional environment the same way you protect your health. Spend time with people who stay grounded under pressure. Observe how they handle conflict, failure, and stress. Learn from their calmness. Emotional control is easier when you're surrounded by examples of it. One of the most powerful habits for developing emotional strength is reflection. At the end of the day, review how you handled your emotions. Ask yourself, when did I stay calm? When did I lose control? What triggered me, and why? This honest self-review helps you see your emotional patterns clearly. You'll begin to notice which situations drain your patience and which strengthen it. That awareness allows you to plan better responses next time. Reflection turns every emotional mistake into a lesson. Another vital part of emotional mastery is acceptance. Life will not always go your way. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. The more you resist what's already happened, the more you suffer. Acceptance doesn't mean surrender. It means acknowledging reality without letting it destroy your peace. When you accept what is, you stop wasting energy wishing it were different. That energy can then be redirected into what you can control, your next step, your mindset, your effort. This shift transforms frustration into focus. To face challenges with strong emotional control, you must also build inner stability through self-care. Sleep, nutrition, and movement play an underrated role in your ability to stay calm. When your body is exhausted or deprived, emotions become harder to manage. A healthy routine builds a strong foundation for mental clarity. You think better, react slower, and recover faster. Emotional strength isn't only about willpower, it's also about preparation. You can't control your emotions effectively if your body and mind are constantly drained. Another practice that reinforces emotional control is detachment from outcomes. Most emotional suffering comes from clinging too tightly to results. When you tie your happiness to specific expectations, you become vulnerable to disappointment. But when you focus on effort instead of outcome, you remain stable no matter what happens. You understand that your responsibility is to act with integrity, discipline, and consistency. The rest is beyond your control. This mindset keeps your emotions steady through both success and failure. Emotional strength also involves forgiveness, not only of others, but of yourself. Holding on to anger, guilt, or resentment consumes mental energy that could be used for progress. When you forgive, you free yourself from emotional weight. It doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means refusing to let negative emotions live rent-free in your mind. The more you forgive, the lighter and clearer you feel. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's emotional mastery. It's choosing peace over poison. When challenges strike, your emotions will always try to pull you into reaction. That's normal. But what defines your strength is how quickly you regain control. You might feel anger, sadness, or fear for a moment, but you don't stay there. You acknowledge the feeling, process it, and then return to action. The ability to recover quickly from emotional turbulence is what separates the grounded from the overwhelmed. It's not about never losing balance, it's about regaining it faster each time. In moments of extreme difficulty, remind yourself that calmness is a form of intelligence. When you stay calm, you think clearly, you make smarter decisions. You communicate better, you protect your energy. This calmness doesn't make you passive, it makes you powerful. You can't influence the outcome of every challenge, but you can always control how you face it. Emotional control is your armor in chaos, your strength in adversity, and your guide through uncertainty. As you continue to strengthen your emotional control, you'll notice that life's challenges don't shrink, but your reactions evolve. What once made you panic now barely shakes you. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. You begin to respond to life with strategy instead of emotion. You stop trying to control the world and focus on mastering yourself. And in doing so, you become unshakable. Because true strength isn't found in what happens around you, it's found in what remains steady within you. Chapter 10. Practice gratitude to stay grounded and forward-focused. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you grounded while you reach for your highest potential. It transforms ordinary moments into lessons, challenges into opportunities, and setbacks into stepping stones. When you cultivate gratitude, your mind begins to focus on abundance rather than scarcity, on progress rather than perfection. It gives you the clarity to see the value in every experience and the strength to move forward without being weighed down by frustration, comparison, or regret. Practicing gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise, it's a strategic tool that strengthens resilience, sharpens focus, and fuels consistent growth. The first step in practicing gratitude is to become aware of what already exists in your life. Most people spend their days chasing what they don't have while ignoring what they do. Your mind naturally notices gaps, deficiencies, and failures, but the truth is, there is always something to appreciate. It could be as simple as the roof over your head, the breath in your lungs, the health of your body, or the people who support you. Recognizing these things doesn't make you complacent, it makes you strong. It gives you a foundation to build upon. Gratitude creates a lens of possibility, showing you what's already working and where you can grow. A powerful way to develop this awareness is to write it down daily. Keep a journal and record 3 to 5 things you're grateful for each day. The act of writing forces your mind to search for positives, even when life feels chaotic or difficult. Over time, you start to notice small blessings that once went unseen. A quiet morning, a helpful conversation, a small victory at work. These are the elements that add up to a meaningful life. This daily practice rewires your brain to focus on what serves you rather than what drains you. Gratitude also strengthens your resilience. When challenges arise, your natural instinct may be to focus on what went wrong. This perspective keeps you stuck in frustration and worry. But when you practice gratitude, you learn to identify the silver lining in every situation. Even in failure, there is something to learn, something to appreciate, and something to improve upon. Recognizing that value allows you to respond with energy, determination, and optimism rather than despair. Gratitude gives you emotional stability, so you can face difficulties without losing balance. Being grateful doesn't mean ignoring ambition or ignoring areas where improvement is needed. It means acknowledging what is working while pursuing what is possible. The combination of gratitude and forward focus creates momentum. When you appreciate your present resources, talents, and achievements, you can use them strategically to pursue your goals. Gratitude provides a clear starting point. Without it, you're constantly running on empty, chasing goals as if you were lacking something essential. When you integrate gratitude into your daily life, Your pursuit becomes purposeful rather than frantic. Another essential element of practicing gratitude is recognizing the contributions of others. Success is rarely achieved in isolation. People offer guidance, encouragement, mentorship, and support that we often take for granted. Expressing gratitude strengthens relationships and builds trust. It reminds you that progress is a shared effort, and it fosters humility. By appreciating the efforts of those around you, you reinforce your own network of support and create a positive environment that fuels continued growth. Gratitude doesn't just benefit you, it amplifies the energy and motivation of everyone around you. The way you speak to yourself is another area where gratitude has a profound impact. Many people are overly critical, focusing on their shortcomings instead of their strengths. Gratitude shifts this inner dialogue. It allows you to see what you've accomplished, what you're capable of, and what resources you already possess. When your internal voice is grounded in appreciation, it replaces self-doubt with confidence and hesitation with clarity. You begin to see setbacks as temporary, not defining. Gratitude strengthens self-trust and encourages you to keep moving forward, even when the path seems uncertain. Gratitude also sharpens focus. A mind focused on abundance and positive growth is less likely to be distracted by trivial complaints, envy, or fear. When you acknowledge what's already working in your life, you automatically filter out the noise that clutters your decision-making. Your energy becomes concentrated on what truly matters, and your efforts become more effective. Focus and gratitude are partners. One cannot fully thrive without the other. Together, they allow you to navigate complexity with calm confidence and intentional action. To deepen this practice, connect gratitude to action. Instead of just thinking about what you appreciate, use that recognition to fuel effort. When you're thankful for your skills, apply them fully. When you appreciate opportunities, act decisively to make the most of them. Gratitude becomes a motivating force rather than a passive reflection. The more you turn appreciation into action, the more your life accelerates toward meaningful results. Gratitude also teaches patience. In a world obsessed with speed and instant results, it's easy to feel frustrated when progress feels slow. By practicing gratitude, you recognize the value of incremental gains. Every small achievement, every lesson learned, and every step forward becomes a cause for appreciation. Patience and persistence naturally follow because your focus is on progress, not perfection. You stop punishing yourself for what hasn't yet been achieved and start acknowledging how far you've already come. Even during adversity, gratitude provides perspective. It allows you to see that your circumstances don't define your worth or your potential. A challenging situation might feel overwhelming, but if you focus on what remains stable, your skills, your support system, your inner strength, you gain a sense of control. Gratitude anchors you to what you can rely on, giving you the clarity to navigate difficulties strategically. It prevents panic and impulsive reactions, replacing them with calm, thoughtful responses. A final aspect of practicing gratitude is consistency. A single moment of appreciation is powerful, but daily practice transforms it into a habit that shapes your mindset permanently. Begin and end your day with reflection on what you are grateful for. Let it guide your decisions, your interactions, and your actions. Over time, gratitude becomes the natural lens through which you view life. Your energy, focus, and resilience increase, and you gain the ability to remain grounded while continually moving forward. When gratitude is integrated into daily life, it becomes a source of strength. It allows you to celebrate the present while striving for the future. It keeps your mind centered, your heart humble, and your focus sharp. Gratitude prevents distraction, discouragement, and burnout. It turns every situation into a lesson, every interaction into a connection, and every moment into an opportunity. Through gratitude, you not only stay grounded, you gain the clarity, energy and motivation to move steadily toward the life you are designing for yourself. Ultimately, gratitude is a practice of alignment. It aligns your mind with what is real, your heart with what is meaningful, and your actions with what is important. By acknowledging the positives, learning from every moment, and staying focused on your path, you cultivate a mindset that is unshakable. Gratitude keeps you present, it keeps you aware, and it keeps you moving forward. Those who master it not only find peace in the moment, they gain the forward-focused momentum that transforms intentions into reality. Chapter 11. Build consistent habits that shape lasting personal growth. The secret to lasting personal growth lies not in occasional bursts of effort, but in the daily habits that become part of who you are. True transformation isn't achieved through inspiration alone. It's built through the steady, consistent actions you take over time. Every choice, every routine, every small commitment compounds, shaping the person you become and the life you create. If you want meaningful change, you must stop relying on motivation and start relying on systems and habits that carry you forward, even when you don't feel like it. Habits are the architecture of your life. Each one either supports your growth or undermines it. A single daily action repeated consistently has far more power than sporadic, intense effort. This is why focusing on consistency rather than intensity is crucial. Whether it's dedicating time to read, exercise, reflect, or plan, the key is regularity. Habits form the bridge between where you are now and the person you want to become. Without them, goals remain abstract ideas. With them, progress becomes inevitable. The first step to building habits that matter is to identify the areas of your life that will have the greatest long-term impact. It's easy to waste energy on actions that feel productive but ultimately move you little closer to your vision. Focus on foundational behaviors, those that improve your mindset, skills, health, and relationships. Once you determine which habits will create the largest ripple effect, you can prioritize them and structure your day around them. Consistency comes naturally when your habits align with your highest priorities. Another essential principle is simplicity. Complex systems or overwhelming routines are difficult to maintain. Break down your desired habits into manageable, repeatable actions. Start small. Instead of trying to overhaul every aspect of your life at once, begin with a few critical habits and execute them daily. Small wins build momentum and confidence. Each day you successfully perform the habit reinforces your identity as someone who follows through, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of growth. Tracking progress is vital to habit formation. When you measure your consistency, you remove ambiguity and hold yourself accountable. This can be as simple as marking a calendar, journaling, or using an app. Seeing a visual representation of your commitment encourages persistence and highlights patterns that need adjustment. Measurement isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Without it, habits can drift, weaken, and fail to produce the results you're capable of achieving. Consistency also requires removing barriers. Every habit is easier to maintain when the environment supports it. Reduce friction by preparing in advance. If your goal is to exercise daily, have your workout gear ready. If you want to read more, keep a book in your bag or on your nightstand. Habits fail less often when you remove excuses and make the desired action the path of least resistance. The environment can either sabotage your consistency or reinforce it. Be intentional in designing it. Discipline is reinforced through repetition. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be times when distractions tempt you, when fatigue or frustration threatens your routine. That is exactly when habits prove their power. When your actions are consistent, even in the absence of desire, they reinforce your identity and strengthen your willpower. The more you act in alignment with your intentions, the less you rely on fleeting emotions, and the more you rely on the structured momentum you've created. Reflection is an essential component of lasting habits. Periodically review your progress to ensure your routines remain aligned with your goals. Habits are not static. They must evolve as your circumstances and priorities change. Evaluate which habits are producing results and which are consuming energy without meaningful return. Adjusting your routines is not failure, it's refinement. Growth is a dynamic process, and your habits must reflect that adaptability. Patience is critical when developing habits. Personal growth is rarely immediate. Habits compound over weeks, months, and years. The results of daily discipline may not be visible instantly, but that does not diminish their power. Trust in the process and commit to your routines, even when the outcome feels distant. Time amplifies consistency. Small actions repeated consistently will eventually yield extraordinary results far beyond what a single effort could accomplish. Your habits also shape your mindset. Consistently following through on commitments strengthens self-confidence and mental resilience. When you see yourself acting in alignment with your values and goals every day, you internalize the belief that you are capable and disciplined. This belief reinforces your motivation to continue building habits, creating a cycle of self-reinforcing growth. Habits don't just shape actions, they shape character. The company you keep also affects your ability to maintain consistent habits. Surround yourself with people who model the behaviors you aspire to. Their consistency will inspire and normalize disciplined action. Avoid environments or individuals that encourage distraction, inconsistency, or complacency. Habits are easier to sustain when reinforced by community accountability and shared purpose. Social influence can either strengthen your routines or erode them. Choose wisely. Accountability amplifies the power of habits. Sharing your intentions with someone who will check in on your progress increases the likelihood of consistency. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments creates an extra layer of responsibility. You are more likely to follow through, not just for your own growth, but out of respect for your word. Accountability partners, mentors, or coaches can accelerate habit formation by providing guidance, encouragement, and correction when necessary. Resilience is built through consistency. Life will challenge your routines. Unexpected events, setbacks, and interruptions will occur. The difference between those who grow and those who stagnate is the ability to return quickly to their habits. A single missed day is not failure. It's an opportunity to recommit. Habits are about long-term alignment, not perfection. The key is to persist, adjust, and resume without allowing temporary disruption to derail overall progress. Mindfulness enhances habit development. Being present while performing your routines ensures you engage fully with each action. Mechanical repetition without awareness diminishes the benefit. By focusing your attention on the process, you cultivate a deeper connection with the habit and reinforce its impact. Mindful practice transforms simple actions into meaningful rituals that shape your growth and deepen your self-discipline. Integration of habits into your identity is the ultimate goal. When the behaviors you wish to cultivate become part of who you are, consistency becomes effortless. You no longer need to rely solely on willpower. Your actions flow naturally from your sense of self. You think of yourself as a disciplined, focused, and growth-oriented person, and your habits align seamlessly with that identity. The stronger your habits become, the more they define your character. Every habit you build contributes to long-term personal growth, whether it's reading, exercising, reflecting, planning, or maintaining emotional control. Each consistent action compounds to create momentum. Momentum carries you forward even when motivation falters. The life you envision is constructed one deliberate habit at a time, each reinforcing the next, each building toward a stronger, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Consistency is not about perfection, it's about persistence. Daily actions, no matter how small, create irreversible change over time. Growth is not a moment, it's a process, a system, a series of choices repeated over months and years. By committing to habits that serve your highest goals, you transform your intentions into results, your potential into reality, and your vision into a life that reflects your discipline, focus, and relentless pursuit of improvement. In the end, personal growth is the sum of your daily habits. The person you are becoming is created by what you do consistently, not occasionally. Each habit, executed with intention and perseverance, becomes a building block of your future. The key is to start, sustain, and refine your routines with patience, awareness, and discipline. Through consistent habits, you shape a life of purpose, strength, and lasting achievement, proving that progress is not accidental. It is designed, practiced, and earned. Chapter 12. Use self-reflection to understand your patterns and progress. Growth begins the moment you take a hard, honest look at yourself. Self-reflection is not a luxury. It is an essential tool for anyone who wants to progress beyond mediocrity and design a life of intentional success. Without it, you are like a ship drifting in open water, unaware of the currents that push you off course. By understanding your patterns, your decisions, and your behaviors, you gain the clarity to adjust, improve, and move steadily toward your goals. True self-reflection transforms vague intentions into precise action, turning awareness into measurable progress. The first step in self-reflection is creating the time and space to pause. Life moves fast, and most people spend their days reacting to circumstances without stopping to evaluate their trajectory. This constant motion leads to repeated mistakes and wasted energy. To reflect effectively, you must step away from distractions, quiet your mind, and focus inward. Even 15 minutes each day of deliberate introspection can reveal insights that weeks of busy activity cannot. The habit of consistent reflection ensures you are guiding your life rather than being guided by it. Observation is the cornerstone of self-reflection. Watch your thoughts, behaviors, and reactions as if you were an impartial observer. Notice what triggers stress, frustration, or distraction. Observe when you feel most productive, focused, or fulfilled. Patterns often reveal themselves subtly, in the moments between decisions, actions, and outcomes. By carefully noting these signals, you begin to understand the underlying causes of both success and struggle in your life. Awareness without judgment allows you to see the truth clearly. Self-reflection requires honesty. It is easy to justify mistakes, blame circumstances, or avoid uncomfortable truths. Growth cannot occur when excuses dominate your thinking. To gain true insight, you must confront your choices and behaviors openly. Ask yourself what worked, what didn't, and why. Identify the habits, attitudes, and decisions that propelled you forward, and recognize those that held you back. This honesty is empowering because it gives you control. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Reflection also strengthens decision-making. When you regularly analyze your past actions, you start to recognize patterns in your choices. You see which decisions consistently lead to positive outcomes and which create setbacks. This understanding allows you to make smarter, more strategic choices in the future. It transforms reactive decision-making into deliberate, conscious action. You begin to act from insight rather than impulse, and that shift dramatically improves your results. Another important aspect of self-reflection is assessing your emotional responses. Emotions often drive behavior, sometimes in ways that conflict with your long-term goals. By examining how you respond to challenges, criticism, or setbacks, you gain awareness of emotional patterns that may sabotage progress. Recognizing these reactions allows you to develop strategies to manage them, turning impulsive responses into intentional actions. Emotional self-awareness is the foundation of maturity and resilience. Self-reflection also reveals blind spots, areas you might overlook without deliberate attention. Perhaps you underestimate the time certain tasks take, overestimate your abilities in specific areas, or neglect relationships that matter. These blind spots can quietly undermine your progress if left unchecked. By systematically reviewing your behaviors, choices, and outcomes, you illuminate these hidden obstacles and can take corrective measures before they grow into larger problems. The process of reflection is not just about identifying mistakes, it is equally about recognizing successes. Celebrate what you did well and understand why it worked. Identifying the strategies, habits, or decisions that led to positive outcomes reinforces those behaviors. Reflection balances criticism with appreciation, ensuring that you learn from both setbacks and achievements. Recognizing what works gives you confidence, motivation, and a clearer roadmap for moving forward. Journaling is one of the most effective methods for self-reflection. Writing down your thoughts, experiences, and observations forces clarity. It captures insights you might forget and allows you to track progress over time. Review past entries to identify recurring patterns or shifts in thinking. The act of recording and revisiting your reflections transforms vague impressions into concrete knowledge. This ongoing documentation serves as a personal map, guiding you through the complexities of growth. Self-reflection encourages accountability. When you take the time to assess your actions, you accept responsibility for your outcomes. You stop blaming circumstances or external factors for your situation. Accountability strengthens self-discipline because it removes the illusion of victimhood and emphasizes personal agency. Recognizing that your habits, choices, and mindset determine results empowers you to act intentionally rather than react passively. The practice of reflection also deepens focus on long-term goals. Daily life often distracts with minor tasks and urgent demands. Reflection creates a pause to evaluate whether your daily actions align with your vision. Are the choices you make today moving you closer to your objectives, or simply filling time? This clarity allows you to prioritize strategically, directing your energy toward what truly matters. It ensures that your efforts compound meaningfully rather than dissipating in unproductive activity. Self-reflection strengthens adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and rigid approaches often fail when circumstances shift. By regularly reviewing your experiences, you become attuned to what is working and what needs change. Reflection develops a mindset that is flexible yet grounded, capable of course-correcting without losing sight of your long-term vision. It is the tool that transforms challenges into learning opportunities and setbacks into growth catalysts. Another benefit of reflection is increased self-awareness regarding personal values. When you consider your choices, successes, and failures, patterns emerge that highlight what you truly prioritize. You become conscious of whether your daily actions align with your principles and aspirations. Misalignment becomes evident, allowing you to adjust both your behaviors and your mindset to live in closer harmony with your purpose. This alignment reinforces consistency, integrity, and fulfillment. Reflection is also instrumental in building resilience. By examining how you respond to adversity, you uncover coping mechanisms that work and those that do not. You learn to anticipate challenges, manage stress effectively, and recover faster from setbacks. Over time, reflection trains your mind to remain composed under pressure, using lessons from the past to navigate the present with confidence. Emotional and mental resilience grows through this deliberate analysis of experience. Ultimately, self-reflection is a cycle of observation, understanding, and action. Observing your patterns without judgment provides clarity. Understanding the causes and effects of your behavior gives insight. Acting on these insights ensures progress. This cycle repeats continuously, creating a rhythm of growth that strengthens both competence and character. The more deliberate and consistent your reflection, the more refined your decision-making and the more intentional your life becomes. When practiced daily, self-reflection transforms ordinary routines into a deliberate path of growth. It prevents you from repeating mistakes, illuminates the steps that lead to success, and reveals the strategies that will take you further than effort alone. It turns experiences into lessons, challenges into opportunities, and decisions into informed actions. By committing to self-reflection, you ensure that every day contributes to your long-term development, your understanding deepens, and your life moves forward with direction, purpose, and clarity. The power of reflection lies in its ability to connect your past, present, and future. By examining previous actions, evaluating current circumstances, and planning next steps, you bridge the gap between who you are today and who you aim to become. It is the tool that transforms experience into knowledge, effort into growth, and intention into achievement. Consistent self-reflection equips you with insight, focus, and foresight, enabling you to shape your life consciously rather than allowing it to be shaped by accident or circumstance. Chapter 13. Surround yourself with people who elevate your mindset. The quality of the people you surround yourself with shapes the quality of your life. Your mindset, habits, and potential are amplified or diminished by those you allow close to you. Growth does not happen in isolation. It is influenced by the energy, values, and attitudes of the people around you. Choosing companions who elevate your thinking, challenge your limits, and inspire action is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. When your environment nurtures excellence, your focus sharpens, your resilience strengthens, and your vision expands beyond what you thought possible. To build a circle that elevates your mindset, start by evaluating your current relationships. Notice which interactions leave you energized, motivated, and inspired, and which leave you drained, frustrated, or doubtful. This requires honesty and discernment. Not everyone who is close to you has a positive influence. Some relationships are comfortable but stagnant, encouraging complacency rather than growth. By clearly identifying these dynamics, you can begin to adjust your connections and intentionally curate a network that aligns with your highest aspirations. Seek people who hold themselves accountable and demonstrate discipline in their own lives. Their consistency and focus will set a standard that motivates you to elevate your own behavior. When you are around individuals who pursue their goals relentlessly and act with integrity, it normalizes high standards. Their mindset becomes contagious, subtly influencing your decisions, habits, and ambitions. The people you spend the most time with act as mirrors, reflecting the level of focus, commitment, and resilience you adopt. It is equally important to find those who think differently and expand your perspective. Growth is rarely achieved in echo chambers, where everyone agrees with you. People who challenge your assumptions, offer new insights, and encourage critical thinking push you beyond mental comfort zones. These relationships sharpen your intellect and expose you to possibilities you may not have considered. Surrounding yourself with thinkers who stimulate your mind creates an environment where innovation and strategic growth become natural outcomes. Pay attention to energy as much as intelligence. Being around people who are optimistic, proactive, and solution-oriented uplifts your mindset. Energy is contagious. Negative attitudes, constant complaints, or pessimism drain mental and emotional resources, slowing your progress. On the other hand, individuals who approach challenges with clarity and calm focus reinforce confidence and persistence. Elevating your environment means surrounding yourself with those whose presence motivates action and inspires resilience. Mentorship is a critical factor in cultivating a growth-oriented network. Seek people who have achieved what you aspire to accomplish. Mentors provide guidance, perspective, and knowledge that accelerates your development. Their successes and failures become lessons that inform your choices. A mentor's mindset serves as a template for strategic thinking, emotional discipline, and consistent action. Learning from those who have walked the path before you saves time, energy, and mistakes, while instilling a belief in what is possible. Collaboration also strengthens your mindset. Engage with peers who are equally ambitious and disciplined. Shared goals and mutual accountability create an environment where high performance is expected and celebrated. You push each other to maintain focus, strive for improvement, and stay committed to long-term objectives. The collective energy of a motivated group is far more powerful than individual effort alone. When surrounded by peers who embody focus and excellence, you naturally rise to meet that standard. Boundaries are essential in this process. It is not always possible to control who is in your life, but you can control the influence they have. Limit interactions with people who drain energy, foster doubt, or encourage complacency. Protect your time and mental space. Saying no to negative influences is not rejection of the person, it is protection of your progress. Boundaries allow you to maintain a positive, forward-focused mindset while reducing the impact of distraction and negativity. Reciprocity is also important. Relationships that elevate your mindset thrive on mutual contribution. Support those around you in their growth as they support yours. Engage in meaningful dialogue, share insights, and celebrate achievements. Being intentional about the value you bring to your network strengthens your connections and reinforces a culture of excellence. The energy you invest in uplifting others returns to you, creating a cycle of growth and inspiration. Observe the habits and routines of those who elevate you. You can learn far more from consistent behavior than from advice alone. Notice how they structure their day, manage challenges, respond to setbacks, and prioritize their goals. Adopting similar practices accelerates your development because you are modeling proven strategies. Exposure to high-performance habits becomes a daily lesson in focus, resilience, and strategic thinking. Emotional intelligence is a shared trait among individuals who elevate others. Seek relationships where respect, empathy, and understanding are present. People who manage their own emotions effectively create an environment of psychological safety, encouraging you to take calculated risks, think creatively, and pursue challenges without fear of judgment. Emotional maturity in your network reinforces mental clarity and strategic focus in your own life. Continuous learning should be a hallmark of your circle. Surround yourself with those who pursue knowledge, self-improvement, and skill development. Their curiosity and growth mindset inspire you to remain proactive in your own learning. When the people around you are committed to expansion, you are reminded that stagnation is a choice, and consistent progress is a standard. A growth-oriented network keeps your ambitions alive and your mindset aligned with long-term achievement. Avoid relationships defined by competition rather than collaboration. Healthy competition can motivate, but envy, comparison, and rivalry erode confidence and focus. Elevating connections are rooted in encouragement and accountability, not judgment or one-upmanship. A supportive environment allows you to push boundaries without fear, experiment without hesitation, and pursue goals without distraction. The quality of your network directly influences the trajectory of your success. Gratitude amplifies the effect of these relationships. Acknowledge and appreciate the people who elevate your mindset. Express recognition for their support, insights, and encouragement. Gratitude strengthens bonds, reinforces positive behavior, and fosters a culture of mutual elevation. The energy you generate in these connections enhances your ability to maintain focus, motivation, and resilience. Consistency and engagement is key. Surrounding yourself with the right people requires ongoing effort, not occasional contact. Regular interaction, discussion, and collaboration maintain the influence of positive energy and strategic thinking in your daily life. The more you engage, the more these influences shape your decisions, priorities, and actions. Consistency ensures that your mindset remains elevated even amidst external challenges. Finally, recognize that you have the ultimate control over your environment. You choose the people who impact your life most deeply. By consciously curating a network that promotes growth, discipline, and clarity, you create a foundation that supports every goal, every habit, and every decision. The right relationships accelerate progress, sharpen thinking, and reinforce the resilience required to achieve your vision. Surround yourself with those who elevate your mindset, and watch as your life transforms through the power of aligned influence, deliberate association, and intentional focus. Chapter 14. Master problem solving through calm and strategic thinking. Challenges are inevitable, but how you respond to them determines whether they become obstacles or opportunities. Mastering problem solving is not about reacting impulsively or relying on luck. It is about cultivating calm, deliberate, and strategic thinking that allows you to navigate any situation effectively. Every problem contains within it a solution, but finding that solution requires a steady mind, clear assessment, and intentional action. When you learn to approach difficulties with composure and strategy, you transform adversity into a tool for growth and empowerment. The first step in mastering problem solving is cultivating mental calmness. Stress, panic, and emotional overwhelm cloud judgment and lead to poor decisions. When confronted with a challenge, pause to center yourself. Take deep, measured breaths and allow your mind to settle. A calm mind can evaluate circumstances objectively, identify patterns, and consider multiple approaches without being swayed by fear or frustration. Calmness is the foundation of clarity, and clarity is the prerequisite for effective solutions. Next, define the problem with precision. Many people attempt to solve difficulties without truly understanding what is causing them. A vague or misidentified problem leads to wasted energy and ineffective solutions. Break the challenge down into specific components. Ask yourself what the core issue is, what factors contribute to it, and what constraints exist. By dissecting the problem, you separate symptoms from root causes, which allows you to focus your efforts on interventions that produce real results. Once the problem is defined, gather relevant information. Strategic thinking relies on accurate and sufficient data. Consider all perspectives, seek evidence, and analyze the context. Avoid assumptions or hasty conclusions. The quality of your solution is directly related to the quality of your understanding. A thorough assessment of facts, resources, and potential consequences ensures your actions are informed and purposeful, rather than reactive or impulsive. Generating solutions requires creativity combined with logic. Don't settle for the first idea that comes to mind. Explore multiple approaches. Evaluate the pros and cons of each option, anticipating potential obstacles and outcomes. Strategic thinkers balance innovation with practicality. They look beyond immediate convenience to the long-term implications of their choices. By exploring alternatives methodically, you increase the likelihood of finding a solution that is both effective and sustainable. Prioritization is essential in problem solving. Not every issue demands equal attention, and not every solution is equally viable. Identify which actions will have the greatest impact and address the most critical aspects first. Effective problem solvers allocate their energy wisely, focusing on high-leverage solutions that move the situation in the desired direction. This approach prevents wasted effort and ensures measurable progress even in complex or overwhelming circumstances. Decision-making must follow analysis. Once you have assessed the problem, generated options, and evaluated outcomes, act decisively. Indecision allows problems to escalate, whereas strategic action creates momentum. Even the most well-thought-out solution is ineffective without execution. Confidence in your choice is reinforced by the knowledge that it is informed, intentional, and aligned with your objectives. Acting deliberately, rather than impulsively, ensures your efforts are productive. Problem-solving also involves contingency planning. Anticipate potential setbacks and develop strategies to mitigate them. Consider what-if scenarios and prepare responses in advance. Strategic thinkers are not paralyzed by uncertainty. They plan for it. By anticipating challenges, you reduce surprises, manage risk, and maintain control even when circumstances shift unexpectedly. Preparation is not prediction. It is creating resilience in the face of unknown variables. Reflection is a vital component of mastering problem solving. After implementing a solution, evaluate its effectiveness. Did it achieve the desired outcome? Were there unintended consequences? What lessons can be applied to future challenges? Continuous reflection strengthens your problem-solving skills over time, creating a feedback loop where experience informs better strategy and sharper decision-making. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to refine your approach and enhance your abilities. Emotional discipline plays a critical role. Strong emotions can obscure logic and limit your ability to think strategically. Recognize your emotional responses, but avoid letting them dictate actions. By separating emotion from analysis, you maintain objectivity and clarity. Emotional control allows you to respond to problems with rationality rather than reaction, turning potential frustration into constructive action. Collaboration enhances problem-solving capacity. Engage others whose perspectives, experience, or expertise can contribute to better solutions. Strategic thinkers leverage diverse viewpoints, considering insights that may not occur to them individually. Collaboration is not compromise, it is expanding the pool of information and creativity available to develop more robust and effective solutions. Effective communication ensures that ideas are exchanged clearly and evaluated objectively. Adaptability is another crucial skill. Problems are rarely static, and conditions often change during the resolution process. A strategic thinker monitors progress, evaluates results in real time, and adjusts methods as necessary. Flexibility allows you to remain effective even when the original plan requires modification. Adaptability is not indecision. It is a deliberate response to evolving circumstances, ensuring that solutions remain relevant and impactful. Patience supports strategic problem-solving. Complex issues rarely resolve instantly, and rushed actions often compound difficulties. Break the problem into manageable steps and tackle them systematically. Allow time for analysis, feedback, and refinement. Persistence combined with patience ensures that even formidable challenges can be addressed methodically without losing focus or composure. Critical thinking is a cornerstone of strategic problem solving. Examine assumptions, question biases, and challenge conventional approaches. Look beyond surface-level symptoms to uncover underlying causes. Evaluate evidence rigorously and consider long-term consequences rather than seeking short-term fixes. Critical thinking transforms reactive responses into calculated strategies that deliver lasting results. Maintain focus on solutions rather than dwelling on obstacles. It is natural to notice limitations, but dwelling excessively on what cannot be changed drains energy and stalls progress. Direct your mental energy toward actionable steps, identifying ways to overcome constraints and leverage available resources. Solution-oriented thinking shifts your mindset from helplessness to empowerment, allowing you to navigate challenges with confidence. Confidence grows through experience. Each problem you solve through calm, strategic thinking reinforces your ability to handle future challenges. The more often you approach difficulties methodically rather than emotionally, the more natural and instinctive this approach becomes. Mastery of problem solving is built incrementally, each success reinforcing mental clarity, discipline, and strategic insight. Ultimately, problem solving through calm and strategic thinking is about combining composure, clarity, and deliberate action. Calmness prevents impulsive reactions. Analysis ensures understanding. Strategy guides effective solutions. Execution turns plans into results. Reflection improves future performance. Emotional discipline and adaptability enhance resilience. Each of these Ns works together to transform challenges into opportunities and uncertainty into controlled, purposeful action. By committing to this approach, you create a mindset that views problems not as threats, but as gateways to growth. Challenges are no longer sources of fear or frustration. They are opportunities to practice discipline, sharpen thinking, and strengthen your capacity for success. Mastery of problem solving equips you with the tools to navigate any situation with confidence, precision, and control, ensuring that obstacles propel you forward rather than hold you back. Chapter 15. Stay patient and persistent when results come slowly. Progress often feels invisible, but persistence is what turns small, steady actions into extraordinary results. True achievement rarely occurs overnight. Most meaningful growth, lasting success, and personal transformation require sustained effort over weeks, months, and years. Impatience is one of the greatest enemies of progress. When results appear slowly, it is easy to doubt your path, question your abilities, or abandon the habits that will ultimately lead to your goals. Those who succeed are not always the fastest or the most talented. They are the ones who continue moving forward, even when immediate reward is absent. Patience begins with understanding the nature of growth. Meaningful outcomes are the product of compounding effort. Every disciplined action, no matter how small, accumulates over time. A single effort may appear insignificant, but repeated consistently, it builds momentum. Just as a tree grows slowly before bearing fruit, the habits, skills, and strategies you implement today may take months or years to show tangible results. Accepting this timeline is essential to maintaining focus and motivation. Persistence is the force that carries you through periods of slow progress. Talent and knowledge are important, but without continued effort, they yield little impact. Persistence requires committing to the process even when the outcome is uncertain. It is the decision to continue refining your skills, taking daily action, and maintaining discipline regardless of immediate feedback. Each repetition, each incremental improvement, brings you closer to your ultimate vision. One of the most powerful ways to stay patient is to shift focus from results to actions. Obsessing over immediate outcomes breeds frustration and discouragement. Instead, concentrate on executing the routines, habits, and strategies that are proven to create success. When your energy is directed toward controllable actions rather than uncontrollable results, you maintain clarity, reduce stress, and sustain momentum. Results will follow when effort is consistent and aligned with purpose. Tracking progress, even in subtle ways, reinforces patience. Small victories often go unnoticed, but acknowledging incremental improvement strengthens confidence and motivation. Documenting your actions, reviewing what has been accomplished, and celebrating even minor milestones helps you recognize that progress is occurring, even if the full impact is not yet visible. Persistence is fueled by evidence of consistent effort, paying off over time. Adversity is inevitable when progress is slow. Challenges, setbacks, and delays test patience, but they also provide opportunities to strengthen resilience. Every obstacle you navigate builds endurance and fortitude. Slow progress is not a reflection of failure, it is a natural part of growth. By maintaining persistence in the face of difficulty, you cultivate mental toughness, emotional control, and strategic thinking that prepare you for even greater achievements. Maintaining focus is critical during periods of delayed results. Distractions, temptations, and short-term gratifications can easily divert attention from long-term objectives. Staying patient requires constant recommitment to your priorities. Remind yourself of the reasons you began your journey. Visualize the outcomes you desire, and reaffirm your dedication to consistent effort. Mental clarity and disciplined focus preserve your energy for the actions that ultimately matter. Self-discipline and patience are intertwined. Discipline ensures that you continue performing necessary actions, even when enthusiasm fades or external validation is absent. Patience allows you to endure the discomfort of waiting for results, while maintaining faith in your process. Together, they create an unstoppable combination that propels you forward, regardless of the pace of visible progress. Mindset is a powerful tool for sustaining patience. Adopt a perspective that values learning, improvement, and experience as much as tangible outcomes. Every step, every challenge, every setback contributes to growth. By framing slow progress as an opportunity to develop skills, refine strategies, and strengthen resilience, you transform waiting from a source of frustration into a meaningful part of your journey. Consistency compounds over time, and its effects often manifest in ways that are not immediately obvious. Skills improve subtly, confidence deepens, habits strengthen, and networks expand. Patience allows you to recognize these quieter forms of progress, reinforcing the notion that effort is never wasted. Understanding the hidden value of sustained action ensures that discouragement does not derail your path. Avoid comparing your timeline to others. Everyone's journey unfolds differently. Judging your progress against external benchmarks leads to frustration and doubt. Focus on your path, your actions, and your incremental improvements. The pace of others does not dictate your potential. Patience requires trusting your own process and honoring the rhythm of your personal growth. Persistence in the face of slow results demands adaptability. Circumstances change, strategies may require refinement, and obstacles may appear unexpectedly. Maintaining progress does not mean blindly repeating the same actions. It means adjusting intelligently while continuing consistent effort. Adaptability ensures that patience is paired with effective action, maximizing the likelihood of achieving your desired outcomes. Gratitude reinforces patience and persistence. Recognize the lessons learned, the skills gained, and the incremental improvements achieved along the way. Gratitude transforms perceived stagnation into acknowledgement of progress, fostering optimism and motivation. By appreciating the process, not just the outcome, you maintain a forward-focused mindset that sustains effort over the long term. Self-reflection is essential during periods of slow results. Regularly assess what is working, what can be improved, and how your strategies align with your ultimate goals. Reflection ensures that your persistence is directed effectively rather than dissipated in unproductive actions. Patience becomes strategic when it is coupled with thoughtful evaluation and informed adjustments. Accountability strengthens endurance. Sharing your goals and progress with trusted peers or mentors reinforces commitment. External accountability provides motivation during challenging times, encouraging continued effort when immediate results are lacking. When you commit publicly or to someone who supports your growth, the combination of internal drive and external accountability sustains persistence. The ultimate reward of patience and persistence is mastery. Deliberate, consistent effort over time develops competence, resilience, and confidence that shortcuts cannot provide. When results eventually appear, they are often stronger, more durable, and more meaningful because they are built on a foundation of disciplined action and unwavering commitment. Slow progress is not a limitation, it is preparation for lasting achievement. Success favors those who endure. The capacity to remain patient, maintain focus, and act consistently in the absence of immediate reward separates individuals who achieve their goals from those who falter. Each day you continue forward, even without visible results. You reinforce the habits, mindset, and resilience that create unstoppable momentum. Slow progress is merely the proving ground for greatness, and persistence is the key that unlocks it. In the end, staying patient and persistent when results come slowly is a demonstration of belief in yourself and your process. It requires trust in your ability, faith in your actions, and commitment to your vision. Every deliberate step, every repeated action, every effort sustained through doubt compounds into the eventual breakthrough. The journey may be long, but those who endure with patience and persistence experience not only success, but also profound personal growth, strength, and mastery over themselves and their circumstances. Chapter 16. Take responsibility for your choices and their outcomes. True empowerment begins the moment you take full responsibility for your choices and their outcomes. No external circumstances, luck, or other people can determine your life as much as the decisions you make and the accountability you assume for them. Every action, thought, and choice creates consequences, whether immediate or delayed, obvious or subtle. Owning these outcomes is not a burden. It is the ultimate form of control. When you accept responsibility completely, you stop blaming, stop complaining, and start shaping your life with purpose, clarity, and authority. Taking responsibility starts with awareness. Observe the decisions you make daily. From the smallest actions to the largest commitments, every choice carries weight, and recognizing this fact ensures you act with intention rather than habit or impulse. Awareness of your agency transforms passive routines into deliberate actions that align with your values and objectives. Understanding that your life is the sum of your decisions empowers you to change any aspect of it by changing your choices. Accountability means refusing to blame others for your circumstances. It is tempting to attribute failures to unfair conditions, other people's actions, or chance events. While external factors exist, blaming them erodes your ability to act and creates a mindset of victimhood. By taking ownership of both successes and setbacks, you reclaim your power. This mindset shift is transformative because it replaces helplessness with agency and excuses with actionable solutions. Responsibility also requires honesty with yourself. Evaluate the outcomes of your choices objectively, without distortion or denial. If a decision leads to failure, admit it, analyze why it happened, and determine what you can do differently next time. If a choice produces success, recognize the effort and thought that contributed to it. Honest assessment sharpens judgment, strengthens decision-making, and prevents repeating mistakes. Accountability without honesty is incomplete. Growth is impossible when reality is ignored. Every choice is an investment of your time, energy, and resources. Understanding this perspective makes decision-making more deliberate. Before acting, consider the potential outcomes and align them with your priorities. Ask whether each choice moves you closer to your goals or diverts you from them. Strategic decision-making, coupled with full ownership of results, ensures that you consistently direct your life toward the outcomes you desire. Responsibility also extends to your mindset. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs are choices you can control. If you allow these thoughts to dominate, you reinforce obstacles in your path. Choosing a disciplined, positive, and growth-oriented mindset directly influences your behavior, your interactions, and the results you achieve. Owning your mental and emotional state is as critical as owning your external actions. Mistakes are inevitable, but responsibility transforms them into lessons rather than failures. When you accept full ownership of missteps, you remove excuses and create an opportunity for improvement. Each mistake becomes data, a source of insight, and a guide for better choices. Avoiding responsibility leads to stagnation, while embracing it accelerates learning, builds resilience, and fosters mastery. Responsibility requires courage. Owning both success and failure exposes you to scrutiny and accountability, yet it is through this vulnerability that growth occurs. Courage strengthens character and reinforces the principle that your life is shaped by your decisions, not by external forces. Each act of courageous ownership builds confidence, reinforces self-discipline, and deepens personal integrity. Decision-making improves when responsibility is embraced. When you know you will fully answer for the results of your actions, you think more carefully, plan more strategically, and act more deliberately. Accountability enhances judgment because each choice carries clear stakes. The discipline to consider consequences and anticipate challenges elevates the quality of decisions and reduces the risk of repeating mistakes. Responsibility also builds independence. The moment you stop blaming others and accept ownership of your outcomes, you remove dependency on external validation, guidance, or circumstance. You become the primary architect of your life. Independence does not mean isolation. It means you rely on your agency to navigate challenges and create opportunities. This autonomy increases confidence, focus, and motivation. Self-reflection is an essential companion to responsibility. Regularly review your actions, their outcomes, and the patterns in your decisions. Reflection clarifies what works, what doesn't, and how to improve. It transforms experience into actionable knowledge, creating a cycle of learning that strengthens judgment, effectiveness, and strategic thinking. Responsibility without reflection limits growth. Reflection without responsibility produces no change. Ethical and moral responsibility is equally important. Your choices affect others, whether in personal relationships, work environments, or society at large. Taking responsibility means considering the impact of your actions and making decisions that align with integrity, fairness, and respect. Living responsibly enhances trust, strengthens relationships, and fosters influence, creating an environment where both you and others can thrive. Consistency reinforces ownership. Taking responsibility once is not enough. It must become habitual. Every choice, every action, and every response should be aligned with accountability. Over time, this consistency creates reliability, credibility, and personal authority. People who take consistent responsibility are trusted, respected, and positioned to achieve lasting success because they act intentionally and honor their commitments. Responsibility also encourages proactivity. When you own your life, you anticipate challenges, seek opportunities, and act before circumstances force you into reaction. Proactive ownership prevents unnecessary setbacks, increases efficiency, and positions you to capitalize on favorable conditions. Waiting for external factors to dictate action cedes control, while responsibility empowers strategic initiative. Empowerment grows directly from accountability. Each time you accept responsibility for outcomes, you reinforce the principle that your life is shaped by your decisions, not chance or external influence. This realization strengthens confidence, fosters resilience, and motivates consistent effort. Empowered individuals act deliberately, navigate uncertainty with composure, and make decisions that reflect their highest priorities and long-term vision. Responsibility also fosters humility. Recognizing that outcomes are the direct result of your choices encourages reflection, self-assessment, and openness to improvement. Humility prevents arrogance, reduces defensiveness, and allows you to learn from mistakes. A humble, yet accountable approach creates balance, confidence without ego, strength without rigidity, and growth without denial. Ultimately, taking responsibility for your choices and their outcomes is the cornerstone of mastery over life. It creates agency, accelerates growth, and fosters resilience. Ownership transforms challenges into opportunities, mistakes into lessons, and intentions into results. Those who consistently embrace accountability gain control over their trajectory, influence over their environment, and clarity in purpose. Responsibility is not a burden, it is freedom, the freedom to shape your life, define your legacy, and achieve results that reflect your vision, effort, and unwavering commitment. Chapter 17. Focus on long-term gains over short-term comfort. True success is born from the ability to delay immediate gratification and prioritize long-term results over fleeting comfort. Life constantly presents opportunities to choose the easy path, the path that requires the least effort, the one that feels safe and comfortable in the present moment. These choices are seductive because they provide immediate relief or pleasure, but they rarely lead to lasting growth, achievement, or fulfillment. Those who achieve extraordinary outcomes are the ones who consistently make decisions with the future in mind, understanding that short-term discomfort is often the necessary price for long-term gain. The first step in cultivating this mindset is developing awareness of your impulses. Every day, you are confronted with decisions that tempt you to prioritize comfort over growth. Skipping a workout, delaying a critical task, indulging in distractions, or avoiding challenging conversations. Recognizing these moments and the choices they present is crucial. Awareness allows you to pause, evaluate the long-term consequences, and choose the option that aligns with your greater objectives, rather than immediate satisfaction. Discipline is the bridge between awareness and action. It is the ability to act in alignment with your long-term goals, even when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. Discipline transforms intentions into consistent behavior. Each time you choose the path that serves your future rather than your immediate comfort, you reinforce habits that compound into remarkable results. Over time, discipline creates resilience, focus, and the capacity to endure short-term discomfort without resistance. Strategic planning strengthens the focus on long-term gains. Establish clear objectives and map the steps required to achieve them. When you know your destination, it becomes easier to evaluate choices in terms of their long-term impact. Every action, whether it brings immediate pleasure or requires temporary sacrifice, should be measured against how it contributes to your ultimate vision. Strategic foresight turns abstract goals into actionable priorities, making it easier to resist temptations that provide only short-lived satisfaction. The ability to embrace delayed gratification is essential. Immediate rewards trigger pleasure centers in the brain, but they often undermine future success. By consciously choosing to delay these rewards, you train your mind to value sustained effort and delayed outcomes. This mental training strengthens patience, enhances decision-making, and reinforces a mindset that prioritizes growth, achievement, and meaningful results over transient comfort. Long-term thinking requires evaluating risks and opportunities. Short-term comfort often masks hidden costs, missed opportunities, compromised potential, and stagnation. Every decision should be assessed for its impact on your future self. Asking questions such as, will this choice move me closer to my goals, or will this habit serve me in the long run, ensures that your actions are consistently aligned with progress rather than convenience. Resilience is cultivated through repeated choices that favor long-term gains. Discomfort is unavoidable when pursuing meaningful objectives. Challenges, setbacks, and hard work are inherent to growth. By consistently enduring these moments and remaining committed to your vision, you strengthen your capacity to overcome adversity. This persistence builds confidence, reinforces determination, and creates momentum that compounds over time, making each successive challenge easier to confront. Sacrificing short-term comfort does not mean denying yourself all enjoyment. It means making conscious choices about which pleasures serve your growth and which hinder it. Simple adjustments, such as prioritizing work over leisure when deadlines are critical, investing in skill development instead of passive entertainment, or choosing healthy habits over indulgent ones, accumulate over time into transformative results. These small sacrifices compound into an extraordinary quality of life. The mindset of long-term gain requires patience. Results rarely appear immediately, and progress may be gradual. The temptation to revert to comfort during periods of slow advancement is strong. Patience allows you to endure temporary hardship, maintain focus, and trust the process. Those who master patience understand that meaningful accomplishments are rarely instant and that consistent effort over time produces exponential rewards. Self-awareness is critical for evaluating the cost of comfort. Reflect on past decisions where choosing immediate ease compromised future outcomes. Recognize patterns of behavior that prioritize comfort over growth and commit to breaking them. Awareness of these tendencies allows you to consciously redirect energy toward actions that build long-term strength, knowledge, and opportunity. Accountability reinforces long-term focus. Share your objectives with mentors, peers, or trusted partners who can provide support, feedback, and perspective. Knowing that others are observing your commitment to long-term goals increases the likelihood that you will resist short-term temptations. Accountability strengthens resolve, encourages consistency, and reinforces a mindset that values lasting achievement over transient relief. Visualization is a powerful tool to maintain focus on long-term objectives. Imagine the rewards of persistent effort, the sense of accomplishment, and the life you are building. When the future outcome is vivid and emotionally compelling, short-term discomfort becomes manageable. Visualization bridges the gap between present effort and future reward, providing motivation during moments when comfort is tempting. A key element of prioritizing long-term gains is learning to embrace challenges. Difficulty, resistance, and struggle are indicators that you are moving toward growth. Avoiding challenges for the sake of comfort leads to stagnation. Facing them head-on, even when uncomfortable, strengthens problem-solving skills, builds resilience, and prepares you for even greater achievements. Each challenge endured for the sake of progress compounds into capability, confidence, and competence. Time management reinforces the focus on long-term priorities. Allocate resources intentionally, dedicating energy to actions that serve your broader goals rather than immediate pleasure. Eliminate distractions, resist procrastination, and organize your schedule to reflect the value of delayed rewards. Time is a finite resource, and choosing to invest it wisely in pursuit of meaningful objectives accelerates growth and minimizes wasted effort. Emotional discipline supports long-term thinking. It is easy to succumb to the fleeting satisfaction of comfort, but controlling impulses and managing emotions ensures that decisions are aligned with strategy rather than desire. Emotional regulation allows you to respond thoughtfully to temptation, making choices that serve the future instead of yielding to immediate relief. Long-term focus fosters strategic accumulation. Knowledge, skills, experiences, and habits compound over time. Every effort invested today in learning, networking, health, or personal growth enhances future opportunities. Prioritizing enduring progress over transient ease ensures that each action contributes to a trajectory of exponential improvement rather than a cycle of short-lived gratification. Ultimately, choosing long-term gains over short-term comfort is an exercise in self-mastery. It requires awareness, discipline, patience, and strategic foresight. Each decision to endure temporary discomfort in service of lasting results strengthens character, sharpens judgment, and builds momentum. The most successful individuals are those who consistently prioritize enduring achievement, understanding that the path of ease rarely leads to greatness. By consistently aligning actions with long-term objectives, embracing challenges, managing impulses, and maintaining strategic focus, you create a life that reflects deliberate effort, resilience, and foresight. Comfort is tempting, but it is fleeting. The results of disciplined, patient, and intentional action endure for a lifetime. Prioritizing long-term gain transforms every decision into an investment in your future, ensuring that your efforts today compound into a life of achievement, mastery, and fulfillment. Chapter 18. Visualize success daily to reinforce your inner belief. Success begins in the mind long before it appears in the world. The ability to visualize your achievements daily is a powerful tool that reinforces belief in yourself and your capacity to reach your goals. Visualization is not mere daydreaming. It is a deliberate, structured practice that programs your mind for success, strengthens confidence, and prepares you to take consistent, purposeful action. Every great achievement starts with a clear mental image of the outcome, and daily practice transforms abstract goals into tangible realities. To begin, clarity is essential. Visualizing success effectively requires a precise and detailed mental picture of what you want to achieve. It is not enough to have a vague idea or wish. Picture your objectives vividly, considering every detail, the environment, the people involved, your emotions, and the specific actions that contribute to reaching the outcome. The more concrete your mental image, the stronger its influence on your subconscious mind and your behavior. Engaging your senses enhances the power of visualization. Imagine not only what you see, but also what you hear, feel, and even smell in your successful scenario. Feeling the satisfaction, pride, or excitement of achievement amplifies the emotional impact and strengthens the belief that success is attainable. Your mind responds to these sensory cues as though the experience is real, preparing you psychologically to pursue the actual results with greater confidence and focus. Consistency is critical. Visualization is most effective when practiced daily. Allocate dedicated time each day to sit quietly, close your eyes, and immerse yourself in the mental experience of success. Repetition builds familiarity and strengthens neural pathways that align your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with your desired outcome. Daily practice turns visualization into a habit, making belief in your goals an automatic part of your mindset. Visualization also reinforces motivation. Seeing yourself succeed in your mind fuels determination and provides a compelling reason to take action, even when challenges arise. When the path becomes difficult or progress seems slow, the mental image of achievement reminds you why you persist. Motivation derived from vivid visualization is anchored in a personal, emotional connection to the outcome, making it more powerful than abstract ambition alone. The mind responds to repetition and focus. By consistently visualizing success, you align your subconscious with your conscious intentions. Your thoughts begin to support your goals automatically, guiding your decisions, shaping your behavior, and enhancing your confidence. Visualization acts as a rehearsal for real-life achievement, preparing you mentally and emotionally for the steps required to make your vision a reality. Visualization is strengthened by combining it with written goals and affirmations. Writing down specific objectives and reviewing them while mentally picturing success creates a multi-layered reinforcement system. Affirmations act as verbal cues that support the mental imagery, while written goals serve as tangible reminders of your intentions. This combination integrates visualization into daily life, ensuring that your subconscious and conscious mind are synchronized toward the same outcomes. Emotional engagement is the key to effectiveness. Visualizing success must evoke genuine feelings of pride, satisfaction, and excitement. Your mind and body respond to emotion as if the experience is occurring in the present. This emotional connection strengthens belief, deepens commitment, and primes you to act decisively when opportunities present themselves. Visualization without emotion lacks impact. It is the combination of mental imagery and genuine feeling that drives change. Visualization also enhances problem-solving and strategic thinking. By mentally rehearsing scenarios, you anticipate challenges and develop solutions in advance. Picture the obstacles you might face, and imagine yourself overcoming them with confidence and resourcefulness. This mental preparation reduces fear, increases adaptability, and equips you to respond strategically in real-life situations. When your mind has already experienced success despite challenges, you approach actual difficulties with composure and clarity. Integration with daily action is essential. Visualization alone cannot produce results. It must guide and reinforce tangible effort. Let your mental imagery inform your behavior, influencing your choices, actions, and priorities. By aligning daily effort with the picture of success in your mind, you ensure that your actions consistently support your goals. Visualization acts as a blueprint, but the construction requires persistent, deliberate work. Self-belief is cultivated through repeated visualization. Each day you reinforce the mental image of your desired outcome. You strengthen confidence in your ability to achieve it. Doubt diminishes as belief grows, and your decisions become more aligned with your potential. Over time, your mind internalizes the vision as reality, and your actions naturally reflect the level of competence, focus, and determination required for success. Visualization also nurtures resilience. By repeatedly imagining yourself succeeding despite challenges, you train your mind to stay composed under pressure. You develop the expectation that obstacles can be navigated and setbacks overcome. This mental rehearsal builds emotional strength and prepares you to face real-world difficulties without fear or hesitation, making success not only desirable but attainable. Clarity of purpose enhances the power of visualization. The more specific your vision, the easier it is to direct your thoughts and energy toward it. Identify precise milestones, behaviors, and outcomes, and imagine achieving them in vivid detail. This specificity creates a roadmap for your subconscious mind, guiding your intuition and decision-making toward actions that align with your desired results. Consistency, patience, and emotional engagement transform visualization into a strategic tool for success. Practiced daily, it shapes mindset, builds confidence and programs your subconscious to recognize opportunities and act decisively. Each session reinforces the belief that your goals are achievable, prepares you for challenges, and strengthens the habits necessary to manifest your vision. Visualization is not passive, it is an active rehearsal for the life you intend to create. Finally, visualization instills a sense of certainty. By seeing yourself achieve your goals repeatedly in your mind, you cultivate unwavering faith in your abilities. This internalized certainty shapes your behavior, attracts opportunities, and enhances decision-making. Success becomes not a distant possibility, but an inevitable outcome of deliberate thought, consistent action, and reinforced belief. Daily visualization is the bridge between imagination and reality. It empowers you to control your inner narrative, strengthen your confidence, and prepare for action. By mentally living your success each day, you train your mind, emotions, and behaviors to align with your highest aspirations. The life you envision becomes a lived reality because your mind has been conditioned to recognize, pursue, and achieve it with unwavering focus and belief. Chapter 19. Balance ambition with rest to maintain strong mental energy. Ambition is the fire that drives achievement. But without rest, even the strongest drive will burn out. Sustained mental energy is the foundation of high performance, clarity, and strategic decision-making. Pushing relentlessly without pause leads to fatigue, reduced focus, and impaired judgment. True strength lies in balancing the pursuit of goals with intentional periods of rest, recovery, and mental rejuvenation. When ambition and rest are harmonized, energy, creativity, and resilience reach their highest levels. Understanding your natural rhythms is the first step in achieving this balance. Everyone has periods of heightened focus and productivity, as well as times when mental energy wanes. Recognizing these patterns allows you to schedule work and rest in alignment with your natural cycles, maximizing efficiency while reducing unnecessary strain. Ignoring these rhythms results in wasted energy and diminished returns, no matter how determined your effort. Rest is not laziness. It is strategic preparation for high-level performance. Short breaks, deep sleep, meditation, or simple moments of quiet reflection restore cognitive function and emotional balance. Mental recovery strengthens problem-solving ability, creativity, and decision-making. Without adequate rest, mistakes multiply, focus diminishes, and even the most ambitious efforts fail to yield meaningful results. Ambition without rest often leads to tunnel vision. Constant activity narrows perspective, suppresses creativity, and reduces adaptability. Pausing allows space for reflection, insight, and strategic thinking. During periods of rest, the mind processes experiences, integrates lessons, and generates new ideas. This mental incubation is as critical as deliberate effort, providing the clarity and vision required for effective action. Intentional scheduling of rest is crucial. Embed periods of recovery into your daily routine as deliberately as work blocks or goal-directed activities. Breaks should be free from distractions and obligations, allowing the mind to fully disengage and recharge. Even brief moments of solitude, deep breathing, or light movement can restore focus and mental energy, enhancing productivity during active periods. Physical health supports mental stamina. Adequate sleep, balanced nutrition, and regular exercise are integral to maintaining energy and focus. Fatigue from neglecting these essentials reduces motivation, weakens discipline, and increases susceptibility to stress. Treating the body as a critical partner in your ambition ensures that mental and physical energy remain aligned, enabling sustained high performance. Mental energy is conserved through prioritization. Ambition often drives overcommitment, scattering focus across too many tasks or goals. Identify the highest value activities that move you toward your long-term vision and allocate energy accordingly. Concentrating effort on meaningful objectives while allowing rest from less critical distractions preserves strength and maximizes results. Stress management is an essential component of balancing ambition with rest. Unchecked stress drains energy, impairs cognitive function, and undermines motivation. Intentional periods of relaxation, mindfulness, or quiet reflection reduce stress hormones, restore clarity, and reinforce focus. Managing mental load prevents burnout, ensuring that ambition remains productive rather than self-destructive. Boundaries are vital to maintaining balance. Ambition can tempt you to say yes to every opportunity, but saying yes indiscriminately undermines energy, focus, and effectiveness. Setting clear limits protects your mental capacity and ensures that time and energy are devoted to the pursuits with the greatest long-term impact. Boundaries allow rest to be integrated seamlessly with effort, rather than sacrificed for the illusion of constant progress. Ambition benefits from reflection, which requires mental space and rest. Periodic evaluation of goals, strategies, and actions sharpens focus, identifies necessary adjustments, and enhances effectiveness. Reflection without rest is superficial. Rest without reflection is unfocused. Combining both strengthens decision-making, reinforces purpose, and maintains sustainable drive. Micro-rest periods throughout the day are as important as extended recovery. Brief moments of deep breathing, mindful awareness, or mental detachment between tasks restore attention and reduce fatigue accumulation. These micro-rests prevent exhaustion from building and allow sustained high-quality performance, even during periods of intense effort. Balancing ambition with rest cultivates resilience. The ability to recover quickly from challenges, setbacks, or failures depends on mental and emotional energy. Individuals who ignore recovery exhaust their coping capacity, while those who prioritize rest maintain composure, clarity, and strategic perspective under pressure. Resilience ensures that ambition is consistently productive, even in demanding circumstances. Mental clarity grows when rest is integrated with ambition. Extended effort without recovery clouds judgment, reduces insight, and fosters reactive behavior. Restful periods allow the mind to process information, connect ideas, and approach problems with strategic perspective. Clarity enhances decision-making, strengthens planning, and aligns action with long-term objectives. Energy management is a skill as critical as skill acquisition or strategic thinking. Recognizing when to push forward and when to pause is a mark of mastery. Overextending depletes the mental reserves required for sustained success, while thoughtful integration of rest replenishes energy and maintains momentum over the long term. Ambition is amplified, not diminished, by disciplined recovery. Rest also strengthens emotional balance. High ambition often brings stress, pressure, and emotional intensity. Without recovery, irritability, frustration, and anxiety can undermine performance and decision-making. Restful practices stabilize emotions, enabling calm, confident, and deliberate action. Emotional equilibrium enhances focus, relationships, and the capacity to navigate complex challenges effectively. Long-term achievement relies on sustainable effort. Temporary bursts of intensity without adequate rest produce short-lived results and high risk of burnout. Sustainable ambition recognizes that enduring progress requires pacing, recovery, and careful management of mental energy. Those who master this balance outperform others not through raw effort alone, but through strategic, sustained action over time. Visualization and mindfulness complement ambition and rest. Imagining successful outcomes during restful periods reinforces purpose, strengthens motivation, and primes the mind for deliberate action. Mindfulness practices sharpen awareness, enhance focus, and increase receptivity to insights that arise during recovery. Together, they transform rest from passive downtime into an active component of achievement. Ultimately, balancing ambition with rest is a commitment to long-term effectiveness, clarity, and resilience. It requires awareness of mental and physical limits, disciplined recovery practices, strategic allocation of energy, and integration of reflection into daily routines. Ambition propels progress, while rest ensures it is sustainable, strategic, and mentally fortified. Mastery is achieved not by relentless effort alone, but by the intelligent combination of drive and recovery, ensuring that mental energy remains strong, focused, and unwavering in pursuit of meaningful goals. Those who embrace this balance harness the full potential of their ambition. They act decisively, think clearly, and maintain endurance across challenges. Every period of rest fuels the next phase of action, creating momentum that compounds into extraordinary performance. By integrating deliberate recovery with focused effort, you sustain energy, sharpen strategy, and build the mental strength required to achieve remarkable lasting success. Chapter 20. Review your growth regularly and refine your life strategy. Growth is meaningless unless it is measured, assessed, and used to refine the path forward. Regularly reviewing your progress is not a passive exercise. It is an active, intentional process that transforms effort into results, mistakes into lessons, and vision into reality. Without reflection, momentum is blind, effort becomes scattered, and opportunities for improvement are missed. Mastery of life requires consistent evaluation of your progress and the courage to adjust your strategy based on what you discover. The first step in reviewing growth is honest assessment. Examine your actions, decisions, and results with clarity and objectivity. Avoid excuses, rationalizations, or self-deception. Identify what worked, what didn't, and why. This level of transparency provides the foundation for meaningful adjustments. Objective evaluation transforms experience into knowledge, giving you insight into patterns, strengths, and areas that require improvement. Measurement is critical. Define specific metrics to gauge your growth. These can be skills acquired, milestones reached, habits maintained, or tangible results achieved. Metrics transform abstract effort into concrete feedback, allowing you to track progress accurately. When you measure consistently, you recognize incremental improvements that may otherwise go unnoticed, reinforcing motivation and confirming that your actions produce real results. Reflection must focus on both success and failure. Success shows what is effective, providing a model to replicate and expand upon. Failures highlight gaps in strategy, execution, or mindset, offering lessons that are often more valuable than victories. By embracing both, you cultivate a mindset of continuous learning and adaptability, essential traits for sustainable growth and long-term achievement. Refinement of strategy is the natural outcome of review. Growth is not static. It requires dynamic adaptation to changing circumstances, new opportunities, and evolving goals. When you identify weaknesses, make adjustments to processes, habits, or approaches. When you see strengths, find ways to leverage them further. This iterative approach ensures that your efforts become increasingly efficient and impactful over time. Consistency in review is as important as the review itself. Schedule regular intervals for reflection, weekly, monthly, or quarterly, depending on the scale of your objectives. Consistent evaluation prevents drift, reinforces accountability, and maintains alignment with your long-term vision. Without regular checkpoints, it is easy to continue on autopilot, missing critical insights that could accelerate growth. Journaling or recording observations enhances the review process. Writing down results, thoughts, challenges, and reflections creates a tangible record of your journey. Reviewing these notes over time reveals patterns, progress, and lessons that may be invisible in daily activity. Documentation also encourages discipline in analysis and reinforces the habit of thoughtful reflection. Feedback from others amplifies self-assessment. Seek perspectives from mentors, peers, or trusted advisors who can provide insight into areas you may overlook. External feedback highlights blind spots, challenges assumptions, and suggests alternatives that improve your strategy. Integrating feedback with personal reflection creates a well-rounded, informed approach to growth. Self-reflection should examine habits, behaviors, and mindset, not only outcomes. Consider whether daily routines, thought patterns, and emotional responses align with your objectives. Misaligned behaviors, even if well-intentioned, can slow progress. By evaluating these internal factors, you ensure that your inner world supports your external goals. Growth becomes a holistic process that strengthens both character and competence. Flexibility is essential when refining strategy. Life is unpredictable, and rigid adherence to a plan can limit progress. Use insights gained from review to pivot, innovate, or adjust your approach. Adaptability allows you to respond strategically to obstacles, seize opportunities, and refine methods for optimal results. Strategy is not a static blueprint. It is a living framework that evolves with experience. Celebrating progress reinforces motivation. Recognize milestones, achievements, and improvements identified during review. Acknowledging success strengthens confidence, reinforces effective behavior, and energizes continued effort. While reflection is analytical, it should also inspire and remind you of the potential unlocked by consistent growth. Analysis of setbacks is equally important. Examine why certain actions failed, what could have been done differently, and how the experience informs future choices. Avoid self-blame or discouragement. Treat every setback as a learning opportunity. Strategic reflection converts disappointment into insight, strengthening resilience and sharpening judgment. Prioritization evolves through review. Growth reveals which actions, habits, and strategies yield the greatest return on effort. Use this insight to focus energy on high-impact activities while eliminating or minimizing those that contribute little. Strategic prioritization ensures that effort compounds effectively, producing sustained, meaningful progress. Reviewing growth strengthens accountability. Awareness that actions will be evaluated encourages deliberate decision-making and disciplined execution. Accountability fosters integrity, consistency, and intentionality, transforming ordinary effort into purposeful action. When review is embedded in your routine, every choice is considered in the context of its long-term contribution. Reflection enhances foresight. Evaluating progress illuminates patterns, potential challenges, and emerging opportunities. Understanding these trends allows for proactive adjustments rather than reactive problem-solving. Strategic foresight derived from regular review enables better planning, reduces wasted effort, and positions you to capitalize on circumstances before they fully materialize. Integration of insights is key. After analyzing outcomes, lessons, and patterns, translate them into actionable adjustments. Modify habits, tweak routines, refine strategies, or enhance skills based on what the review reveals. Actionable application transforms reflection from a theoretical exercise into tangible, practical improvement. Long-term growth is cumulative, and regular review accelerates this accumulation. Small, consistent refinements prevent stagnation, compound over time, and create exponential improvement. Without review, progress is haphazard, and potential remains unrealized. Discipline in assessment and adjustment ensures that every effort contributes meaningfully to personal and professional advancement. Self-awareness deepens through consistent evaluation. Understanding your responses to challenges, strengths under pressure, and areas of vulnerability informs both personal development and strategic planning. Insight into these patterns enhances decision-making, emotional regulation, and the ability to act decisively, ultimately increasing effectiveness across all areas of life. Ultimately, regularly reviewing growth and refining life strategy is the keystone of intentional achievement. Growth is not accidental, it is deliberate, measured, and guided by conscious reflection. Each review session strengthens awareness, refines approach, and reinforces commitment to long-term objectives. Strategic adjustment ensures that effort produces maximum impact, aligning daily actions with meaningful outcomes. By making consistent review and refinement a cornerstone of your routine, you cultivate a life of continuous improvement, clarity, and purposeful direction. You transform experience into wisdom, effort into results, and ambition into sustainable achievement. Growth is no longer random. It becomes intentional, guided, and empowered by the knowledge gained through regular, disciplined reflection.